Second and 6. Rush. Ball knocked out of his hand and ends up in the arms of Guyton. He gets it knocked out by Petrillo, and the return for the touchdown by Derek Barnett.
Alberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Dame off the bounce against Brooks. Dame driving inside. Takes it to go. Gives up the lead with 3.9 left.
Force 1440. And the Oilers Nation YouTube channel.
Ovechkin was on the board. Dubois looking for the captain. Ovechkin fires. That is a pistol. Blazing away in Salt Lake City.
Well, a tremendous Tuesday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. PlayAlberta.ca. It is Tuesday, and you know what that means. Lotto Max, a huge opportunity for you to get in $70 million plus 10 $1 million max million draws. So get your tickets today at playalberta.ca. Just remember our rule. You win, you invite us to the party. We win, we'll have multiple ones. All right? Try to keep it fun, and everything will be good. It's official. I've been talking about for months on this show that once they fired Chris Jones, been saying that the only choice the Elks had to give them the best chance to get their organization back on track was to hire Ed Hervey. And that will become official. Well, it's official today, I guess, in theory. They'll have a press conference tomorrow, my understanding. And Ed Hervey is back in his second tour as a GM of the Edmonton Elks. And if you're hoping he can match what he did the first time he was here, because in 4 years as a GM, they won a Grey Cup. Not bad at all. And you know what? They lost in the West Final, won a Grey Cup, lost in the East Final, and then he was out. Which still, when you look back on that decision by the Elks, you can really pinpoint when their organization started to go downhill. All you got to do is look at the Elks' record before Ed Hervey arrived, and then look at their record after he left. Now, the first year after he left, they were decent because all those he had built that team. But then the fall from grace became rather swift and dramatic downhill. So this isn't a surprise to me. I've been saying it for months. We said it yesterday on the show. The announcement would come this week, and they're smart. They won't announce the head coach with Ed Hervey. That you want to get in the news cycle a few times, so they'll have Ed Hervey have his day. He is going to be the GM and the VP of football operations, and then they will announce the coaching staff fairly quickly. My understanding could be as quick as next week. We'll see, but you look at that news, Connor Halley. Not a surprise, I don't think. But to me, this is kind of the obvious decision.
Yeah, I mean, it was outlined when Chris Morris spoke to the media, going back to the Eskimo way, building that consistency, bringing in a guy like Ed Hervey who knows how to build a winner. I know he's broken it down a bunch of times on your show over the past 10, 15 years. You build from the inside, you work your way out, and he's inheriting a lot of talent on this team. Obviously, he's going to bring in some of his guys and make some moves throughout the roster, but he does have some really nice pieces here. So it was common sense. I think maybe the worst kept secret in the offseason for the CFL. And I guess the team had decided, why waste any more time? Let's just announce it. Looking forward to hearing from him tomorrow. And that's a very good decision bringing back Ed Hervey, because you illustrated it there that they were winning football games with him. His roster won football games when he was no longer with the team. He'll help turn this thing around, bring stability, consistency, accountability, and that's what the team needs.
Oh God, do they ever? I think Chris Morris, I like that hire. I think he comes in and he'll bring a professionalism to the organization. He brings a level of understanding both football and the community from a business standpoint, which will be good. And we'll see where it goes. But if you look at basically from 06 till now, the Elks have really not had a whole bunch of success. The most successful time was those stretches of seasons when they had Ed Hervey as the GM. And of course, we mentioned he was here, and then they let him go after the 2016 season. 2017, they were decent. Lots of those players on the team he built. And then after that, it was just a progression downhill. 9-9, 8-10, 3-11, 4-14, 4-14, 7-11. Not good. So it won't be hard to be better than what the last few seasons have been in Edmonton, no question. Meanwhile, the Edmonton Oilers yesterday, oof. That might have been their worst performance of the season. Like they weren't in that game at all. They were very much settling for the perimeter. How many true scoring chances did they have? 3? Like real good chances? Maybe. I thought Calvin Pickard was solid. I know someone say, well, they don't love the second goal. So what? They had like 3-1 high danger chances in favor of Montreal. Edmonton's lost some games where they played well and couldn't score. Last night was a game they just didn't play well. So we'll see how they bounce back. Tonight, one lineup change will be Stuart Skinner in goal for the Edmonton Oilers. One roster change for the Oilers today. Kasperi Kapanen has been claimed off of waivers from the St. Louis Blues. He will join the team in Edmonton. He will not be playing in Ottawa tonight. He's in St. Louis, so he'll jump on a plane and get to Edmonton tomorrow. And then likely could be in the lineup Thursday against the Minnesota Wild. Kapanen, now, you know what? He had 5 seasons in a row, 2019, 20, 21, 22, and 23, where he had 32 to 44 points, range from 13 goals to 20 goals. Some decent seasons. Last year in St. Louis, wasn't good. 6 goals, 22 points. And this year off to start with only 1 goal in 10 games. Fast player. When he's motivated, he can play. So, at times the pilot light isn't on bright. Maybe the best way to put it. So we'll see. He adds some speed to the team. And, I know we've had a lot of texts. What does this mean about Arvidsson? Now, granted, I didn't reach out anything today, but the last time I spoke to anybody, they thought Arvidsson was short term. So I think this is one where the organization just feels, you know what, we got to get a little bit quicker. And here's a guy that, it's $1 million. You bring him in for a few weeks. If it doesn't work out, you put him back on waivers and away you go. It's not, it's not hugely detrimental. Sometimes you find a guy on waivers and it pans out. So that's obviously what they'll be looking for that. I look at last night, the Oilers power play, man. I don't know why, but last night it was just like, well, let's just stand still. Their power play's best success. Yes, they're good on puck retrievals, but it's when they're in motion and they're moving guys around, and we're just not seeing any of that. And so they gotta, that there's a little bit of frustration. Last night was just a game. They didn't have it, and that's probably going to happen a few times in the season. It's disappointing when it happens against a team who is the second worst defensive team in the National Hockey League. To me, I kind of look at that as a wasted opportunity. Now you got to beat an Ottawa team who, if you actually look at the Senators play, it's funny. The Ottawa Senators have the best expected goals against 5-on-5 in the NHL, but they're not getting good goaltending from Allmark. They got the best. They have the lowest expected goals against. Now the Oilers come in. They have the second best expected goals, but they're way down there in goals. So Edmonton creates a lot of chances, can't score. Ottawa doesn't give up a lot of chances, has been giving up more goals than they would like. So we'll see what gives tonight. Do the Oilers, do they find a way to bury some chances? Does Ottawa find a way to save more chances? We'll see. Allmark, he, we heard it yesterday. He has an expected save percentage of .902, but his actual save percentage is .891. This is at 5-on-5, where the majority of the game's played. Stuart Skinner has a save percentage of .896. 5-on-5, he has an expected of .899. So fairly close. He's not above. He's not well below. It's like one save. If he made one extra save, he'd be kind of right where he is. Do you know what the league average is? Now, this is courtesy of ClearSight Analytics. And what I love about ClearSight Analytics, they remove shots from center. They just remove. They're like, this is not helping us when it comes to expected goals or anything. They just remove them, right? Like, you expect an NHL goalie to make a save when someone dumps it in. It's considered a shot on goal because if the goalie wasn't there, it would go in the net. So I get the theory of it, but I think it's a little bit more accurate when you look at save percentage and everything else. But you know what the league average save percentage is right now? Expected save percentage in the NHL? 887. That's expected because teams are creating more chances now. All right, so now that's going to be a little bit lower than what you see publicly because they remove a lot of those long shots. And there's probably 2 or 3 of those a game sometimes where a guy dumps it in from outside the blue line, right? Goalie makes a save and he gets a save for it. It's not really a save. So they remove it to kind of give you a better sense because they kind of say, hey, that's a save a goalie should automatically make. It's outside the blue line, whatever. Away we go. So 887. I think a lot of people have to readjust. Like the days of 920, I think for a long period of time are probably unlikely. Overall, just because you have more goals. Sign me up, baby. Sign me up. I'm all favor of that. But the Oilers power play needs to be better. I know, last night you look at those goals. The first Montreal goal, it's just kind of, hey, point shot. You get a deflection from Gallagher. Not much you can do on it. All right. But it's a reminder that it's never a bad thing. Put pucks on net. And the Oilers, I went through the Oilers' woes because I've talked about it all year long. And I know everybody, slowly people are coming around. I've been saying this since basically the third game. The Oilers struggles. They can't score. It's a big problem. Yes, goaltending can make a few more saves. No doubt. But you cannot win in the NHL regularly if you can't score more than 2 goals. You just can't. And that's the Oilers' problem. Too often, they're not scoring 3 goals. So you're not going to win. And you look at it, and I've been talking about the top 6 forwards. It's been a big issue. They got to be better. And you look at their forward group from last year till this season. And shooting percentage, Leon Draisaitl at 5-on-5, he's up. He's got 6 goals. He only had 15 goals 5-on-5 last year, so off to a really good start. Corey Perry's shooting percentage is higher this year than it was last year, and so is Connor Brown's. That's it amongst order forwards. And now here's the thing, though. Their actual shots per 60 are pretty much one guy's, one more shot. Kyman, he's down almost 3 per game. And he's missed the net more this season. So that is a factor. Last season, he had 68 shot attempts that missed the net. This year, he's on pace for 86. So for him, fairly different. But he's snake bitten. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has 1 goal. Podkolzin has none. Skinner doesn't really get any time in your top 6. They got to find some wingers who can score a damn goal, who play with McDavid and Draisaitl. Can't just be 29 and 97 to score all the goals. Just can't be. You're not going to win. So we'll see. All right? Could you get a few more saves from your goalie? 100%. But it's a collective team issue. And unless you think your goalie, who many of you are saying, well, the goalie isn't that great, but now you expect them to win games by only allowing 2 goals, it doesn't make sense. They've got to score some more goals. It's that simple. Hey, guys, McDavid seemed irritated throughout the game, especially in that whiff one-timer by Hyman after he danced around the defender on the illegal pick play. Yeah, well, you know what? Hey, guys, we'll get frustrated. I don't have a problem with that. They have high expectations in this group, and they need to be much better. So we'll see. Coming up on the show today, we're going to hear from the GM of the Ottawa Senators, former Edmonton Oilers, Steve Staios. He'll join us right away. We got Andy Petrillo. Struddy will be by. Dave McCarthy. Spec. We got the pregame show. Kurt Heelan also. Awesome. Kurt Heelan from NBC Sports. Woo. Love it for all of you NBA fans. That'll be great. So We got a loaded show. As always, we'll get your text 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. And I just got this in from Carrie from Trilogy. Any of you big Bruce Springsteen fans? Like big diehard Bruce Springsteen fans? I have 6 seats to give away at a loge table and a parking pass, courtesy of Trilogy. We're just going to give them away. Who's a big Springsteen fan? So we'll give those away in the 3 o'clock hour. So pay attention. And maybe we'll have some Bruce Springsteen trivia to know if you're a diehard. So A, can you go tonight? 6 seats in the loge. This is unreal. It's one of the best giveaways we've ever had. I love it. We'll get all to that, but we'll get Steve Staios next. And the Gregor presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Gateway Toyota treats us like we're precious gems.
Because that's what we are.
Every vehicle purchased from Gateway Toyota includes enrollment into their GEM program. It stands for Gateway Exclusive Membership.
And it gives you 5-year access to over $2,500 in benefits.
Free oil changes.
Free tire and windshield repair.
Free car washes.
Even an annual detailing.
You'll also get special discounts, trade-in bonuses, and referral rewards.
I feel like a gem.
At Gateway Toyota, just off Calgary Trail at Ellerslie Road.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Some places offer small Black Friday sales, but at Wolf GMC Buick, we go big, baby. All in-stock 2024 models are on sale. Get 0% financing up to 72 months on the amazing GMC Sierra half-ton. Employee pricing on 2024 GMC Sierra heavy duties and Yukons. 0% financing on Buick Encores. There's even more. Get a limited time offer of up to $1,000 Black Friday bonus on in-stock GMCs, Buick SUVs, and pickups. Wolf GMC Buick, seconds from the Anthony Henday. Get it now, because these deals are on for a very limited time.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
Hand delivering a hamper to a family in need fills everyone's hearts with joy. Be part of the Holiday Hamper program. Adopt a local family and see the difference your groceries and gifts make firsthand. Sign up today at holidayhamper.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian and $5 Pink Whitney shots. You can also get 60-cent wings and play Oilers Score and Win to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers Hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave and 118th.
In sports talk and beyond, this is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Game day on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook, sports1440.ca. Thanks as always for joining us wherever you're at, listening or watching. We appreciate it. It's time now for the Oil Report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. They are Canada's #1 Volvo dealership, 13-time winner of Excellence Award in sales and service. And right now, a Black Friday price, and you get great deals, 0% financing on the new 2025 Volvo XC90s or Volvo plug-in hybrid XC90s. Check it out today at volvocarsedmonton.com. We are joined by Former NHLer who, of course, played over 1,000 NHL games. He is now in his second season as the general manager of the Ottawa Senators. And many of you used to cheer for him as a former Edmonton Oiler. Steve Staios joins us. Steve, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. We're coming up. I guess it's just under 11 months now that you've been on the job. You worked obviously in the league as a player for a long time, and then you worked around in different areas for different teams. But now you're kind of the grand poobah, the head guy. What's it been like? What's been the most fun part of being a GM?
The wins are the most fun, and it's a tight league. It's the best league in the world for a reason, and every night, as evidence, every time we turn on the TV at night, we watch how competitive and the parity across the league. But no, it's been my time in Ottawa. It's a relatively short period of time when you look at it from some of the things that we were looking to accomplish and do, and put some foundational pieces in place and processes in place. So we feel like it's still at the first stage of build here and what we're looking to do, but no, it's been good.
So, you know what, you take over, Steve, and everybody has a vision, and you can't, in order to get to the ultimate goal, which is winning the Stanley Cup, there's lots of steps along the way. And, the process is so important sometimes. And I'm sure there's always, hey, we want to speed it up. Explain to me that your relationship with the ownership group, and kind of, without getting too in depth into the plan, unless you really want to, on, how do you get to the proper steps to put yourself in a position where you can take a shot at the, at the cup year after year and not just be a one-hit wonder?
I think the most important thing is a proper self-evaluation of your organization from top down, and being understanding and realistic. And we all want it now. We're all competitive people in this business. You want to get there as quickly as possible. But for us, it's, we were in a different stage than a lot of other teams. We've already drafted, good players, good foundational pieces within our roster. And they're not so young anymore, but they're still relatively inexperienced when you look at contending type of teams. And so, my goal going into the off season, starting a trade deadline, which wasn't fruitful for us, but you do the work and you have a plan. And really, I was pretty open about the plan, and it was to surround this core group of players with some veteran players that have had some different experiences. We managed to do that. So you sort of balance out the roster a little bit with that. And then you watch, and we're into the season now. We're still in the first quarter of the season, moving into it, and you evaluate and see where we're at. And we've shown some good signs. We've played some good hockey. Our record is what it is, and there's a lot of teams in the same situation as we are from a record perspective. So again, I feel like it's sort of that next step, and how long that takes to sort of see a proper evaluation of it, I think time will tell.
And you look at how your team's played, Steve, and you know what? I think the biggest area that you wanted to improve as a group was be better defensively. And a lot of the underlying numbers suggest that your team has been a lot better defensively as a group, limiting high danger chances and shots against, expected goals, all those sorts of things. As a guy who specializes on the defensive side, how would you, do the numbers match what you're seeing as far as improvement defensively as a group?
Yeah, I think it's been clear. It's been clear in the games, and we've been consistent in that area, which is, obviously a foundational piece to have success consistently. There's other parts of the game, and again, the margins are so close in the league that you have to find. There's other ways to win for sure, but if you don't have that consistent team buy-in, and it's not just some of the players I brought in for sure, but also the coaching staff is really. We're trying to build that identity. And when you look at it from a coaching perspective, I don't think you can coach everything all at once. You obviously go over all that, but you emphasize on one area in particular. And we've shown great improvement in that area. Now, as the coaching staff, a new coaching staff, Travis has done a phenomenal job of being able to implement his systems. The players are buying in and playing that way. And now it's up to us to try and find that next step. But for sure, you bring up the defensive side of things, and we want to make sure that we stay consistent in that area.
Steve Staios joins us, general manager of the Ottawa Senators. And Steve, you locked up Linus Ullmark as a goalie for the next 4 seasons, on a big deal. And, he's admitted that, his game isn't exactly where it wants to be, but, is confident that it will get there. You've got Sanderson and you got Shabbat. You went out and Nick Jensen, like your top 4 seems pretty secure. When you look at to kind of round out your team, how much of it is just your best players gaining more experience? And then how much of it is you as the GM having to look to find the right players to complement those guys?
Yeah, it's the magic question, really. I mean, you're always looking to try and improve your team if you can. But the more I've looked at it, you look at it, and I've talked about internal growth for this group, and the Stutzlas, the Norrises, the Bathersons, all those players continue, and Brady as well, who brings it every night. They still have room to grow in their game, and they are, and they've shown signs of improvement. So, it's a balance of being patient, but also being honest and watching them improve, and they have for sure. They continue to improve as a young core, and I think the veteran players that we've surrounded with is helping in that manner. And it's a long season. There's lots of ups and downs, and we need those veteran guys in there to make sure that we keep the thing steady and moving in the right direction. And as far as Linus, we have confidence that he's going to get back to the top of his game. And even when he's not right on his game, he's still a presence for us. And there's a lot of factors that go into this. Is real human factors. You come in, you're in a Canadian market now, and it's a big contract, and it's a move, and it's a trade, and all that stuff. It takes a little bit of time for a player to get comfortable. We certainly feel that Linus is comfortable in our system and in our program here, but I didn't sign him for the next 4 weeks. I signed him for the next 4 years past this year. So certainly we're certainly eager in our approach on a day-to-day and trying to win every game. But having the long-term outlook of this group, I think, is important.
Steve, when you play your ultra-competitive guy, I'm assuming you're the same way as the GM, but do you have to have a different level of patience as a GM?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, as a player, and even as a coach, I mean, you're in the battle, you're in on the day-to-day, and I certainly feel it. I live it and breathe it with our players and our coaches on the day-to-day, but it is up to me to take a step back. And I've learned from some great general managers. I mean, I not only when I was playing, but certainly my experience post-playing and being around a lot of these veteran gentlemen who have managed for a long time, and you've seen how they've done it. You study how they build these teams and some of the things that they do, but certainly being a general manager is a lot different than being a coach, and obviously a player as well, where you're in the battle and on each play. I have a plan for this group, and you sit back and you watch it sort of come to fruition. You watch it grow, or it doesn't, and then you got to be prepared to make the necessary decisions and changes at that point in time.
Steve Staios, general manager of the Ottawa Senators, joins us. And Steve, Claude Giroux, I hear lots, they just rave about what he's brought to the group. You talked earlier about that veteran presence, and losing can be contagious, just like winning's contagious. And you've been on both sides. So how do you instill a winning culture?
Well, initially that's what you're trying to do. And culture is a bit of an overused word, but you instill the winning culture by having players like Claude Giroux and bringing in David Perron and Michael Amadio and Nick Cousins and guys who have won or been part of long. I can only do so much. These guys are living it. They're on the buses and the planes and the dress rooms and at practice. And the hope is that resonates with the group. These players have been through those battles and they get it. And once you have that experience as a player, you can pass that along, and just on the way that you show up to the rink and you practice. And so that was part of how we're looking to change the culture. We feel like it's come a long way in a year. The level of detail, professionalism, all that has come a long way. We're hoping that continues move in the right direction, and it shows up in the win column. But certainly that's part of culture. That's part of identity as well. Now our identity now, over the first 17 games is that we're a strong defensive team. And so that's something to build off of.
Steve, as much as we talk about a successful organization on the ice, there's so much of it that comes off of the ice, and ownership can make a big difference. Obviously, if you're willing to spend to the cap, that's one thing. But there's so many other elements of just practice facility, meals, travel, so many different things that go into it that give your players a better chance of success. Maybe make them a little bit happier at times. You look at, under Mr. Andlauer, lots of people believe that that's maybe one of the biggest changes moving forward is that you've got an owner who's willing to do all those small little increments in different areas that can help you build a successful group that isn't necessarily all about on the ice.
It's certainly hugely important. And Michael has made a massive commitment to the organization and to the community. And we've already gone through a big renovation an upgrade to our fitness facility and our medical facility in this building. We're moving forward with a new building here, and you don't know how long those things take. But in the meantime, he has made a full commitment. We did a massive renovation here at the arena at the Canadian Tire Center to make sure that our players know that there's that commitment. And certainly there's best practices that I was fortunate to be part of as a player and in management as well. But it's been a big improvement here in all areas, and that's because of the commitment of Michael Andlauer.
I want to take you through, Steve. You mentioned the trade deadline last year. You know what? You put in a lot of work. It didn't turn out the way you necessarily wanted it to be. Making trades, when you've talked to GMs, like that to me seems like it's a difficult thing to master, to know when's the right time, when's the right player to move out, bring in, all those sorts of things. How do you prepare for that as a GM? Is it just from getting in the conversations and pulling off trades? Are there things you can do to know that, when a trade is available, it's the right one and you pull the trigger?
Well, each trade and, each one has its own storyline and what you're looking to do. I mean, I do, as far as being prepared for it, I've been doing it for a number of years. And even prior, when I first came out of playing and being in and around the Toronto Maple Leafs organization, I was, not sitting in the chair at that point in time, but certainly part of those discussions and those strategic decisions that we made as a group. But the trade deadline leading into it, it would have been easy for me to make a trade as a first-time general manager to make a trade. So I could stand there and say I made a trade at the trade deadline. So when you talk about patience, it would have been easier for me to make a trade and be able to talk about it rather than not. And I think the process that we took leading into that trade deadline led to what we felt was a successful offseason, and being able to, acquire some of the targets that we had in those areas. We were very specific in our approach on what we were looking to do. And it didn't come to fruition at the trade deadline. So we showed great patience to make sure that we didn't do anything that would prevent us from looking at it for the second opportunity, which was going to be the off season. And where we were as a group, I made the decision that this is time to make sure that we sit back and do the right thing by being patient and allowing us the opportunity to go into the off season. So there's certainly processes that we have in place when we're looking at player acquisition, and we keep kind of try and gauge the market. And at that point, I have to make a decision if it's the right decision for the group moving forward.
Steve, your final 7 seasons in the NHL, you played against a young buck by the name of Alex Ovechkin, and the ageless wonder is now 27 goals shy of breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time scoring record. Unfortunately, got injured last night in that third period and is now out a few weeks. But as a guy who played against him, when you watch him at his age and what he's doing, do you marvel about it? And what was? Do you have like a favorite or most memorable moment playing against Ovechkin?
Well, it was a challenge for sure. You do marvel at his ability to be able to do this. The greats always can hang on a little bit longer. They're always just a little bit smarter, a little bit stronger, or have a differentiating quality like Ovechkin does with his shot and being able to get into those areas and being able to put it in the back of the net. But it was a great challenge. I'd always try and rise up to the occasion when you get to play against a player like that. But he could do it a number of different ways. And as he evolved as a player, even off the rush, he wasn't as much of a threat as some of the other superstars off the rush. And I say that with great respect. But he wasn't as dynamic as some of these other guys. But he added to his game that way as well and continued to round it out. He'd always been, physical and hard to get off pucks, and his shot was his differentiator. But he certainly continued to evolve, and to see him continue to do it at this age is pretty incredible. But the wins against Alex were, if you could get in the shot lane and block his shots, they weren't fun once you took them. But there were some games where I was able to keep him off the score sheet on the penalty kill, and that was a win for me.
How'd you convince yourself to get in the shooting lane when he's winding up for those one-timers? Because some guys just shoot the puck a little different than others.
Yeah, no doubt. I think him and McInnes were two guys where guys sort of got in the lane. They kind of got in the lane. They didn't want to really get in the lane on them. But, for me, it was pretty clear on how I could help my team. And that was one way to do it. And, you got to have courage to be able to get in those shot lanes to be able to do it. But, it's always a thrill when you get a chance to line up against these guys, and to see Ovechkin continue to do what he's doing is pretty incredible.
Steve Staios joins us, GM of the Ottawa Senators. Of course, they host the Edmonton Oilers tonight. And Steve, one of your big deals was this summer, Jacob Chychrun went out, and you brought in Nick Jensen from Washington. Both good defensemen, but different skill sets. I think Nick Jensen was a guy who's, kind of primarily really competitive player, but, solid on the D zone more than he is considered an offensive guy. And, you had Sanderson, you had Chabot, so you got guys who can move the puck in your top pairing. Kind of tell me, has Jensen been everything you guys had hoped for thus far?
He really has. Yeah. I mean, it's, you go into these trades and you identify the player, and you like all the attributes that he brings, and really it's about balance. Like Jacob Chychrun's a heck of a hockey player. Jake Sanderson and Thomas Chabot and Chychrun, all left shots, all play a similar brand of hockey. You're trying to build a balanced team. And so to me, it was nothing less to do with Jacob Chychrun as the player. He's a great player. But it's up to me to try and balance this roster out. And certainly we feel like, and there's other factors that go into it. Jacob's got 1 year left until he's a UFA, and you're looking at, you have to keep the salary cap in mind as you're building this out. But certainly we've been very pleased with Nick Jensen and just the professionalism that he brings, and he brings it every night. And so it's a great balance. He's a right shot that we can play. You can play with Thomas Chabot, and it's really raised Thomas's game as well, and gives us some flexibility with our top four, with Zub, Sanderson, and Jensen and Chabot. So we love what Nick Jensen brings to our group. He's been everything that we've hoped for.
And obviously, I'm sure it wasn't a surprise to you, but I look at young Sanderson, and man, like this guy, I think in the future is going to be somebody who's a Norris Trophy candidate. Like, as great as he is defensively at a young age, which is surprising, his offensive acumen is almost just as good. Like there doesn't seem like there's a weakness in his game, Steve. And you've played with a lot of great defensemen over the time. I don't like to compare guys, but what is the best element of Sanderson's game?
Well, that's a very difficult thing to answer, because you talk about his skating, his ability to transport the puck, his ability to break pucks out under pressure. But you said it. He defends, for a young defenseman. The maturity of his defending and his commitment to it, I think, is probably the thing that jumps off for me the most, because you see a smooth skating guy with great hands and can transport pucks, and that's what catches people's eyes. But I think, when you watch him defend and how he closes on players, and with a competitive guy defensively at such a young age, his maturity on the defensive side of it, I think, is the one thing that we see on a consistent basis. And so, and he's still a relatively young. He's a young player, and so lots of room to grow. And he's going to, as he gets more experience, we feel like he's going to continue to grow his game.
Steve, it's always good to catch up with you, man. Great to talk to you. Continued success this season.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
There you go. That's Steve Staios, the general manager of the Ottawa Senators. And you know what? They got some really good pieces there. I think that the challenge for Steve is going to be when to make that move on their team. Like going out and getting the goaltender, Allmark, the way they've played this year, if they get better goaltending, because if you look at their chances against, like Edmonton's going to be hard pressed. Ottawa doesn't give up a lot of chances. They've got the lowest expected goals in the NHL. But like the Oilers, despite heavily outshooting the opposition 5-on-5, they're getting outscored 5-on-5. So they're kind of similar. Now, the difference is Ottawa is allowing more goals than they should, and Edmonton can't score to save their life 5-on-5. They're the second highest expected goals, and they're near the bottom in actual goals. Right? They got the what are they, first in shot for percentage? Ottawa's third. But both teams are getting outscored 5-on-5. Like, over the course of the year, it should have both teams as a plus, but they're there for different reasons. Now, Ottawa, the difference in Ottawa is they get a lot of shots, but they're not generating as many high-danger chances overall because their expected goals isn't very high. Their expected goals comes in around like 24th. So it's not a huge surprise that they're not scoring a lot because, well, they are getting shots. They're not getting a boatload of high-danger ones. So we'll see. You know, they got to get a little bit more inside. Same with the Oilers. So you kind of got two organizations mirroring each other a little bit here. So kind of fascinated to see. Edmonton has had a lot of success lately in Ottawa the last few seasons, although they are 1-1-1 in their last three. But in the McDavid era, they have they've won 8 of 11 games there. So, or 8 of 13 games. Either way, it's been pretty good. And Edmonton's going to have I don't care what the past record was. If Edmonton doesn't have a better performance tonight than they did last night, they got no chance. Last night, I thought top to bottom, effort-wise, might have been their worst effort of the season. So we'll see if they can get back on track. Tonight, that was the Oil Report brought to you by VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. When we return, Andy Petrillo will join us. Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining room furniture. Plus, save up to $700 off a big screen TV and get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year and The Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details.
Mr. Rooter plays a video game.
This is wonderful. A world where a plumber is the hero. My hat is off to you, Mario. Although I personally advise against eating any mushrooms found in a drain pipe. I won't make that mistake twice. All I've got to do now is hop over this Goomba and save the princess. What? No way. I pressed jump. I pressed jump.
For a super plumber with an all-time high score, call Mr. Rooter.
Raise a smoothie to any friend you've had since 1999. That's a good friend.
and Booster Juice was there. Now celebrating 25 years in Canada and more than 450 locations from coast to coast. A silver anniversary splashed with lots of oranges. Celebrate 25 years of Booster Juice with the return of OG favorite smoothies, like the original, the Orangesicle, and the Marathon, made with cranberries, bananas, strawberries, orange sorbet, and probiotic yogurt. Happy 25th Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Tim's Holiday Smile Cookie is here. Until November 24th, 100% of proceeds are donated to local charities, community groups, and Tim's camps. Get one to give back to your community at participating restaurants in Canada.
One small step for Schwab, one giant leap for Schwab High.
Schwab's has landed the biggest truck sale of the year with Get the Truck Out of Here. Get 0% financing or lease rates as low as 1.9% on 2024 half-ton trucks. You'll be over the moon with employee pricing. Save up to $13,000 on select GMC and Chevy HDs. Plus, get $10,000 cash back. Get the truck out of here. Head to Schwab Chevrolet Buick GMC in Leduc.
All my life I've been searching for something never comes, never leads to nothing satisfies, but I'm getting closer to the prize at the end of the road. All night long I dream of the day when it comes around and it's taken away, leaves me with the feeling that I feel the most, feel it come to life when I see your ghost.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at Cantork.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.248. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Hope you're having a wonderful day. It is game day. Orders taking on the Ottawa Senators. Big news out of Boston. Jim Montgomery let go after Bruce Cassidy. Like, what the hell is going on in Boston? Like, Bruce Cassidy was a really good coach. Got rid of him. Being pretty good in Vegas. And I'm telling you right now, and Jim Montgomery, I have talked to so many people, players, like they rave about this guy as being a smart coach. And he should skyrocket to the top of the list of available coaches for any team out there. Now, if you're Jim Montgomery, probably pick and choose where you want to go. But if he wants to get back in soon, he could get back in. This is somewhat of a surprising move for me. So, no, I shouldn't say it. I'm not stunned. We'd heard rumblings of it, but like, what are they doing in Boston? Wasn't the coach who got rid of all the guys? Like, I don't know. We'll see, man. I think my prediction of the Bruins missing the playoffs, which a lot of people scoffed at, I'm feeling a little bit more confident about it today. I'll just say that. Just going to say. Now, let's get to our footy report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter long. It's going to get cold tomorrow. Highs of -12. Brr. Stay warm. Play Alberta. Sorry, at Legacy Heating. As we welcome in Andy Petrillo from CBC Sports, the NHL on Amazon, and One Soccer. Andy, how you doing?
Great. -12. Yikes. I thought this was bad. I don't know if you can really see, but it is dark. It is cloudy. It is windy. It is raining here at BMO Field in Toronto for this game between Canada and Suriname. So not exactly looking forward to it, but I do have a tent that I can hide under. So yeah, winter is here now, my friend. It's getting chilly.
Oh, it is. And I see you got the scarf on. That's always a scarf keeps you warm. It's a highly, I think, underappreciated part. Then it doesn't let the cold air get through your neck. So I like it. Let's talk about. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I also have layers of lawn johns and everything on. So I kind of feel like, those kids that get sent to school, like kindergarten, grade 1, where they're in their snowsuit and they can't really bend their arms and legs because they're so insulated. That's kind of how I feel right now. I have a lot of layers on right now. Do not ask me to pick anything up. I can't move.
All right. Well, you'll stay warm, though. That's always important. Function over fashion. Function over fashion, Andy. Now, Suriname and Canada, the first match ended up 1-0. What'd you like about that game? Maybe what didn't you like?
Well, the first thing that I like, obviously, is that they got the win. The first game was in Suriname. It was, chippy field, chippy game, chippy conditions. So the fact that you can go down to a place like that and get the victory is always a good thing. So I'll never turn my nose up at that. But the bad thing was that Canada just looked very disjointed. And I think for the longest time now, especially under Jesse Marsh, we've seen them take on teams that are above them. And his whole philosophy has been the pressure, create a turnover, counterattack, and hopefully that results in something. Well, now when you take on a team that's below you, you're the one that has to control play. You're the one in possession. And the Canadiens had a lot of that possession, but then they weren't really doing anything with it. It was kind of dying on the vine when they were getting in the final third. So that was a little bit interesting where, again, they're normally the team that's the pest, make the other team turn it over, counterattack. Suriname now took on that role. And Canada was the one that had to be a little bit more comfortable with having possession. And I think that took them a little longer than I would have liked to see them get comfortable with that. I'm obviously missing Alphonso Davies in the lineup, although moving Richie Larea to that left back role, they did just fine. Taniola Wishani started as well up top over Kyle Larin, who was on the bench. And the substitutions really coming in that second half. Junior Hoylett was the one, who ended up getting the goal. Brilliant pass by Jonathan David, who's a stalwart on this team. And when Alphonso Davies isn't around, he becomes the focus. But there was still just set pieces weren't really sharp, from corners to dead balls. It was like, what is going on here, right? So there was just a little bit of the team being disjointed. But at the end of the day, like I said, I mean, how do you really complain when you walk away with a win?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the old adage, you don't complain too hard about victories. But now they're at home tonight. So let's say they take care of business. When's their next game?
So you'll probably be looking at the Final Four in March, and that's the big one, right? So yeah, this game, we are expecting to see a different Canada in the sense that they're not on turf, they'll be on grass, they're at home. The conditions should just favor them. They're coming in a little bit more confident, obviously, having won the first leg. So we are expecting that to be different. Maybe not too much change in personnel. Maybe Kyle Larin will actually start this time. But, again, like that back line still looked good. Even with a Joel Waterman who filled in for Derek Cornelius in that back, he's obviously dealing with torn cartilage in his ribs. So the fill-ins, like everyone looked good. Now that they're at home, we should expect this to be a victory. And this is huge because the one thing that will continue to hang over this team's head is trophies, lack thereof. The last time they won was 2000 Gold Cup. And the Nations League, this is what this is their real chance to win a trophy. 2 years ago, they made the Final Four. That was in Vegas. They beat Panama in the semis to face the United States in the final. And, if you're going to call yourself the Kings of CONCACAF, if you're going to say that you're on this kind of trajectory path, then you have to start putting some hardware in the trophy case. And then that ended up, not only was it a loss 2 years ago, but it was just a bad loss. Like, Canada got completely outplayed. John Herdman got completely outcoached. So yeah, now that, like, here's the thing, like, sure, they've got to get through this game here first, right? But the goal, the expectation is you've got to be in that Final Four in March, and you have to be competing for a trophy, or else where is our conversation here when it comes to the progress of this team, right? Because if you're not constantly making finals, and at some point, if you're not starting to win trophies, what are we talking about here with this team, right? Because I think we're all in agreement to sit here and say they're going to win the World Cup in 2026 might be a little la-la-landish, but I don't think it's crazy to say that they can win Nations League. I also don't think it's crazy to say that they could win the Gold Cup next year. Like, within CONCACAF, they need to start winning trophies. So they need to take care of business, do so easily here tonight, even though people will always say nothing's ever easy, and it really isn't. But again, when we're talking about this team progressing, it's got to be a Final Four in March.
So there's 2 more in there.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, you have to keep moving on, and that would be the thing. Now, a few other things in the soccer world. Alphonso Davies isn't going. Fatigue is the reason. But this club versus country talk seems to be a pretty big topic of conversation right now in the world of football.
We could probably do a little mini docuseries on this, Jason, just like every week, just something different to talk about, because it is a really big conversation. And, even Harry Kane recently came out because 9 players on England's team also dropped out. A lot of the players, Alphonso Davies included, like, they're in contract years. Alphonso Davies' contract is up with Bayern Munich. We've been discussing this for however long on this show now, right? Like, whether he re-signs there, who knows? But the real belief, obviously, is that it'll be Real Madrid. You don't want to risk anything, right? You don't want to risk, obviously, any kind of injury. You don't want to risk any kind of fatigue either, because you want to be tip-top shape for this new team, and more importantly, this new deal that is your bread and butter. And I think, a lot of people, and I do still believe it, but I do think it's still a little bit kind of, like, it's more nostalgic to say, do it for the country, do it for free, show up, it's an honor. And that is all true. But in today's day and age, the reality is that, they play a lot of games with club, they make a lot of money with club, and quite frankly, national teams choose their players based on how they're playing with club. You even look at this Canadian team and even the goalkeeping situation. Max Crepeau's a really good goalkeeper, but at the end of the day, he got dropped when it came to his MLS side in Portland, and Dane St. Clair is still playing in the playoffs with Minnesota as a number 1. So that's why Dane St. Clair got that start in game 1. So club matters. So you bet that's also going to matter in a player's decision. So yeah, I mean, we could go forever on, like, is it club over country? Is it country over club? Or, a lot of people, I think, believe that at some point you just have to find this healthy balance. Obviously with Alphonso, there was a camp that was held a few weeks ago where Canada didn't play any games. He showed up to that. The question is, like, well, why would he go to that? When he could have come to this, like, maybe switch those. But you never know what's going on in somebody's head. Maybe he felt great a couple weeks ago, and then suddenly this window, he's like, maybe something changed, right? We don't really know. But yeah, I think it's a conversation that's going to happen for a while now, because players are also being more vocal with their workload, saying this is kind of getting ridiculous, right? With all the competitions, inter competitions, national competitions. I mean, even Infantino, the president of FIFA, for a while there was talking about having a FIFA World Cup every 2 years. Like, do you know the process of, like, qualifying play? Like, it is getting a bit much. So, I think there are a lot of players that are also being vocal on that.
Yeah, it's I'm not sure what the answer is, the solution to it, right? Because I can understand the club teams are the one paying them their money, and anytime you're in a contract year, you're not going to want to, or going into one, you're not going to risk it. So, it's challenging. Do you see an easy way to come to a solution on this?
I mean, not really. I don't, because, again, I think what you're just going to have to rely on, maybe if you're the national team, is you're just always in conversation with the player. You're trying to figure out what's best for them, where maybe they can take their breaks, and where maybe you stress that you really need them, for certain games. And having said that, though, like, I think the players will recognize when there's like a very crucial window, when there's a very crucial matchup. And I think they have, and here's the thing, like I'm on the side of a player needing to pick and choose. So there isn't burnout. So there isn't an injury that gets exacerbated as well. And they never really feel like top notch in healing, right? So maybe it's just a matter of also being in communication a lot with your national team coach and finding a right balance for you. And again, I think what's even happening in the club world is a lot of players, again, are just being a little bit more vocal about the amount of competition that's out there to be like, you got to, tranquilo here a little bit, right? And we've heard this definitely in North America of load management, and you just don't want it getting out of hand either, because at the end of the day, they do get paid a lot of money. You want to see them play. So you've got to just strike the right balance. And I think we're having these conversations now. So hopefully, down the road, we'll start to see, some changes where, in a big window, like, it's a quarterfinals, you want Alphonso Davies out there as opposed to not.
Andy, great stuff. Stay warm. Enjoy the match tonight. We'll talk to you next week.
Great. Thanks, Jason.
That's Andy Petrillo from joining us from BMO Field, of course, Canada and Suriname, the second leg of that match going on tonight. Canada, of course, won the first one 1-0. That's the Footy Report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Coming up, Jason Strudwick will join us. We also have Dave McCarthy. The Jim Montgomery news. What the hell is going on in Boston? He had the best record of any coach since he was hired. And he's gone. Stunning. The Bruins, is it the coach's fault the goalie's not making a save? I don't know. Seems a little off to me. We'll see. Let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update, brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC, where you can get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
The architect of Edmonton's 2015 Grey Cup Championship team is returning, as Ed Hervey is now the vice president and general manager of the Edmonton Elks. Hervey and the Elks president Chris Morris will address the media tomorrow at Commonwealth Stadium. The Edmonton Oilers are playing forward this very captain off waivers from the St. Louis Blues. He had 1 goal in 10 games this season with St. Louis. Is a pending unrestricted free agent carrying a cap hit of $1 million. The Oilers back in action tonight, looking to bounce back from the loss in Montreal as they take on the Sens at 5. We've got pregame coverage starting at 4 o'clock with Andrew Walker and Jason Gregor. Elsewhere on the NHL, the Lightning taking on the Penguins, Blues host the Wild Panthers in Winnipeg, Ducks take on the Hawks, Flames against the Islanders, and the Rangers taking on the Canucks. Capitals captain Alexander Ovechkin is week to week with a lower body injury he suffered last night in their win against Utah. Ovechkin now has a league-leading 15 goals in 25 points in 18 games. And the Boston Bruins announced that the team has fired Jim Montgomery as their head coach. Associate coach Joe Sacco will take over on an interim basis. The Bruins currently sitting at a tie for third spot in the Atlantic with a record of 8-9-3 and a minus 21 goal differential in the association tonight. The group play continues for the NBA Cup. Lakers host the Jazz. Thunder take on the Spurs, Mavs, and Pelicans. Hornets in Brooklyn, and the 15-0 Cavaliers in Boston to take on the Celtics. The New York Jets is avoiding season continuing and claiming another casualty as owner Woody Johnson fired GM Joe Douglas after just over 5 seasons. Phil Savage, a senior advisor with the team, was named the interim general manager. He formerly managed the Cleveland Browns from 2005 to 2008. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by former NHLer Jason Strudwick, Dave McCarthy of SiriusXM, and we'll ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Ready to tackle your toughest tasks? Edmonton Kubota has you covered with the all-new M8 Series tractor with powerful 181 and 201 horsepower engines, Cummins power, and loader readiness. It's built to handle any challenge. And now, for a limited time, get a free 4-year extended warranty when you drive off with an M8 Series tractor. Don't miss out on this unbeatable offer. Visit Edmonton Kubota today and power up your productivity. Edmonton Kubota, where power meets performance.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Oodle Noodle Origins.
In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the new world. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Oodle Noodle.
You've heard people say dream big and think about your future. Well, at GS Construction, we live by those words every day. You see, GS Construction lays pipes in the underground systems in your area. So we don't just think about today, we think about tomorrow and the future of Edmonton's communities and neighborhoods, the places we call home and the places we will call home. We're there when new neighborhoods are developed and return when it's time to replace them. For more on what we do, go to gsconstruction.ca.
At Cross Mitsubishi, our legendary warranty is going even further.
Right now, upgrade to a 10-year, 200,000-kilometer bumper-to-bumper warranty on your new Mitsubishi.
Cross Mitsubishi will pay $1,000 towards your warranty upgrade, making it easier than ever to drive with confidence.
Visit Cross Mitsubishi today and secure your extended protection. 9605 34th Ave and at crossmitsubishi.ca.
A career in the public service is better in Alberta. Better wages, lower taxes. Better job opportunities with our thriving economy. Better chances for advancement. Plus a better future with new investment in healthcare and education. Public service. It's better here. Learn more and discover new career opportunities in the public sector at alberta.ca/betterhere. A message from the Government of Alberta.
It's the biggest game of the season. The Oil Kings Teddy Bear Toss presented by The Brick.
Sunday, November 24th, bring your new stuffed bears to the game, and when the Oil Kings score their first goal, the fur will fly onto the ice.
Help Santa's Anonymous collect thousands of bears this holiday season for families in need.
See the Oil Kings in their special Teddy Bear Toss-themed jerseys as they face the Red Deer Rebels.
Teddy Bear Toss presented by The Brick. 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon at Rogers Place.
Tickets are selling quickly. Great family entertainment starts at just $20 a seat at oilkings.ca.
No more every letter.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For your residential water needs, your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. It's game day on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube, Facebook, and X, Instagram. The Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where tonight, boys and girls, hey, maybe it's your night, 70 million up for grabs in the Lotto Max and 10 Max Millions. Good luck. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. Connor Halley with you. I'm Jason Gregor. And it's time for Struds On, brought to you by Action Electrical. And hey, you got commercial building. Do you know that you get a huge 30% rebate courtesy of the government? Action Electrical will tell you how to do it. They can save you boatloads of money. Go to actionelectrical.net.
The Jason Gregor Show presents Struds On.
I don't believe in tea bags. I use loose leaf tea. It is so much better than the tea bags. I'll eat tea bags. I'll
Struds On.
I'm not a huge DJ guy. I mean, I guess if you had me a couple glow sticks and a tight white t-shirt that I can get wet, maybe I'd be into it.
Struds On.
There's a lone steakhouse I used to go to down in Kentucky, and they had bowls of peanuts. I wasn't sucking on those ones. I mean, you need to have clean nut. I'm talking about the kind you get in a bag at an Elks game. You know what I mean?
It's time for Struds On.
Struddy, happy Tuesday. How you doing?
I'm good, buddy. How are you making out?
I'm doing all right, man. But I will say in the Chrome Dome department today, one of the best, Jim Montgomery, let go in Boston. Like, the hell's going on? Jim Montgomery has the best record. He has a 715 points percentage, a 656 winning percentage, best in the NHL in 2 years and a bit, and he gets canned. Like, what the hell's going on? I don't understand it.
Yeah, that's really weird, and he's done so well, and you look at his record, you're like, what is going on? So I don't know. I guess it unfortunately something has to change. I think that team is better than they've done. Like I think on paper they're a better team than their record suggests, and so maybe they felt that they had to give it a different voice. But Joe Sacco steps in, who's been around as a coach, kind of in and out. He's been around the league a long time, but with all due respect to Joe Sacco, he's not what I think is what I hear about Montgomery as being really, really good. So was a personality conflict. We saw him challenging some of the veterans, but I don't know. I mean, coaches challenge veterans all the time, so. Yeah, I don't know. It is a really odd thing, but considering where they're at in the standings, I wasn't surprised. I said I'd be disappointed for Montgomery, but not surprised.
See, really, Boston last year, Kevin Woodley was the one who got me onto it in the offseason. He goes, Boston had unreal goaltending that made up for a lot of, on paper, they have pretty good defensemen. And I'm told it's not a systemic thing. I talked to a lot of people. They think Jim Montgomery's a really good coach. It's no different than Cassidy. And it almost seems like management's like, well, we'll just side with players all the time. I'm going to tell you right now, Struds, whoever the next coach is at Boston, he ain't coming close to the record that Jim Montgomery had.
Yeah, well, I think the team isn't as good when Jim got there either. But they like, for instance, now Charlie Coyle I think is a good player, but I think at times he plays too far up the lineup. Right, he's to me he's a third line center, and at times he's played second line center. I think even last year at times he was on the first line power play, which to me that I don't see him as that guy. So they lost Bouchard, they've lost Krejci, some of these other guys. Like that's a pretty big hole to fill, and then you have guys moving too far up the lineup.
Yeah, so that's my point. You're blaming a coach for the lack of talent on the team. I don't get it. I can't believe we're not winning because we have Charlie Coyle as our number one center. And oh, by the way, Lindholm, who the GM signed, has been junk with a capital J.
Yeah, and that's probably, well, you're the GM, right? That's the next thing to fall, right? You move out the coach, and then Sweeney's been there a while, had some success for sure, but this team is kind of coming down off its high years. But I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, you're trying to get a spark and kind of try to get this year going because it's not working the way it was. And if that team doesn't make the playoffs or they struggle to get in, that's probably below what Sweeney and especially Cam Neely think.
Yeah, probably. Look at the orders. And last night, Struds, every now and then there's going to be a game where you just don't play well. I thought that was last night. The orders were not really good in that game, unless you think being on the perimeter is a great way to play. Or being stationary on the power play, because last night they've lost games this year where they played well and just couldn't finish chances. They barely created any chances last night.
No, that was one of the easier shutouts against the Oilers that I can recall. Maybe since, remember when Henrik Lundqvist had that one where he was laughing about it in Edmonton, how easy. That was a number of years ago. But listen, Yeah, there are some games you're just not going to win, but you've got to be able to manage those games. So I'm just going to go back to the first goal, and Evan Bouchard gets the puck, jumps off the blue line, and does a high risk, low reward type play. And there's nothing there. And then, 15 seconds later, although it didn't go off the rush, the puck was in the back of their net. And you have to, you got to be able to massage those types of games. Say, boys, we don't have it tonight, but let's just be smart and not beat ourselves. And just hang in there, just keep grinding, and eventually we get a bounce, or maybe our power play goes off, whatever. So you got to kind of find that way through that game. And, they're a veteran team. They know that. But it was just one of those nights where, you're right, they were on the perimeter. They weren't challenging a defensively challenged group of players, and they made it too easy for them, and they found a way to get that win.
Yeah, it wasn't ideal. They'll have to have a much better effort tonight. They did acquire Kapanen today. They claimed him off of waivers. He had 5 consecutive years between 32 and 44 points. He's $1 million cap hit. He's a pretty fast player. Last year wasn't great in St. Louis. Not off to a good start this year. So maybe a change of address can help him. Maybe Arvidsson's injury is a little bit more long-term than they think. I don't know for sure, but I was told no. But, I was also told he was going to play on Saturday, and it's Tuesday, and he's still not playing. So, what do you make of the Kapanen thing, man? Is this just like a kind of a low risk move to see if it pans out?
Well, for sure, it's a low risk. I think he brings more speed. But I mean, this to me is like, you're at the blackjack table and you're sitting 16, and the dealer's showing a 17, and you have a lot of money on the table. You're just praying it works out. Like I think his best times are behind him. He can skate pretty well. He's still a pretty decent skater. He gets around, so maybe add a little more speed. I just wonder where he fits in. Where would you slot him in? Where's the guy? Does this bump Janmark down? Does he play beside Henrique? Is he a fourth liner? Does Paul Colton slide down the third line? Like I'll be really interested where they slot him in. But this is not a savior riding in. This is a complete wild card. You have no idea what is on the backside of this deal, but I wouldn't get my hopes too high.
No, he, you know what? You hope that he catches lightning in a bottle for a short period of time, but I just, when I look at his history as a player, I don't see him as a long-term answer. It's a stopgap, low risk, and we'll see what happens. I know people are like, well, they're not accruing cap space. I'm like, yeah, for 3 days, because after Saturday they can send Josh Brown back to the minors, because they don't play again until Friday, and then they will be accruing cap space again. So you're only going to lose, today, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like 5 days of it. It's not the end of the world to do something like that. So that's about $20,000 overall, really, in cap space every day that's less. So, but yeah, I'm with you. I don't see it being a big time solution. But do you have an answer, Struddy? Because the one solution they need to find is Nugent-Hopkins, Hyman, Podkolzin, and Arvidsson, anyone who can figure out how to score a goal playing in the top 6.
So there's always a lot of talk. I mean, Oilers fans, we love to talk about the fourth line. Man, we spend a lot of time thinking about the fourth line, how to make the fourth line better, who can we pick up on waivers, who should we call up to fix up the fourth line. But reality is right now, it's to your point, that the wingers, the middle set of winners that aren't getting it done. Nuge had the one he rang off the post on the power play. Nice shot, but you need to score there. You need to get it done, and they weren't able to get it done. So he's got to find more offense. Zach Hyman is way off the pace he had from last year. Paul Colton, I really like his game. He's not scoring a lot. He's helping Leon get the puck and all this type of thing, but he's not scoring. Arvidsson's out, so there's your top 6 wingers. How many goals do they have between them? Not very many. So those guys have to raise their game, and then somehow they got to get Jeff Skinner going. I wouldn't be surprised if tonight maybe we see him up beside one of the big guys, give him a little bit more featured spot. I know he had a few shifts with Leon, but they got to find a way to get him going. He was the crown jewel that came in to help the scoring, and he's not scoring. And I think actually he started weak, then he got going, and I think now he's fading off again for the lack of opportunity. They have to get this guy a spot somewhere beside Leon or Connor.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like Jeff Skinner, I get that he's got some deficiencies in his game, but he's also got strengths in his game. And the strengths of his game aren't going to be shown when he's playing fourth line minutes with Derek Ryan. Not going to happen. Like you're putting him in a position to completely fail. It doesn't make any sense to me.
No, and then the challenge is that I get it. Like, he wants to carry the puck, and I understand that Connor and Leon want the puck, but he has to be put in a position to figure that out. He's a smart veteran player. He wants to succeed as well. He wants to get points as well and goals. So put him in there and have those guys talk to him. Say, listen, when we're coming off, you got the puck on the wall in their own zone. I'm coming through. Give it to me, but then catch up. I'll find you. Like, trust me, I want to find you and pass you the puck so you can score. And those are the type. I know I'm oversimplifying it, but that's kind of where it's at. Because I thought when Skinner did play with those guys, he was holding on to the puck too much. And on this team, that doesn't work. Any team, you give it to you, feed your centers, right? You feed it to those guys, especially when they have the speed, and then you catch up and they find you. So I just think that, for whatever reason, Knobloch hasn't been as aggressive as I think he should be, trying to force a relationship with either 97 or 29 for Skinner.
Yeah, Jason Strudwick joins us, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Oilers in Ottawa tonight to take on the Senators. Struddy, Evan Bouchard right now, of course, is in the line of fire for a lot of fans. He had a rough minute against Toronto. There's no doubt about that. A lot of people don't like how it looks, his lack of urgency after a turnover, a giveaway. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look good. The optics doesn't look good. But I'm going to challenge the fans and say the two that bother me more than the other one were the goal last night where he doesn't get it. He jumps off the blue line and doesn't get the puck deep when he's being challenged by multiple players on the other team. And then the cross ice sauce pass that hit Connor McDavid in the bum. That is really hard pass. There's like you got to think about it. The way it was, he was coming out to the right side of the net and he was passing it back to the benches. So it wasn't like that he was going from the other way where he's going from the side with the benches to the other side where maybe he could spring someone on a breakaway. You're passing it into everybody who's changing. And there's a lot of people changing at that time. He literally could have made any other play, right? Skated it, passed to Connor, go off the glass, get it out, whatever it is. But he did something that surprised everybody, including Stu Skinner wasn't ready for it. So I really think that right now he's got some doubt in his game. He's not a confident player. And one of the way it really shows is he's kind of frozen on the blue line. Unless he walks into and hammers a one-timer, he's not able to get a shot through or off in time.
Yep.
And when he's rolling, he's kind of doing those little jiggles side to side or quick little toe drags, and he's creating shooting and or passing lanes for himself. We're not seeing that from him. I think there's significant doubt in his mind about where his game's at. And he has the puck on his stick so much that eventually, like we saw a few times the last couple of nights, it's going to hurt him.
Yeah. Getting his shot through, he's got 68 shot attempts that have been blocked so far this season. He's on pace for 300. The most he's ever had is 185. Like, it's a massive uptick in shots blocked. And when it's funny, Struds, his actual shots on goal are the same as last year. So he's taking that many more attempts that aren't getting through. And, to me, that's an issue. It's something that normally he's been very good at. It's a good skill. Like, Nick Lidstrom is one of the best. You just find a way to get that shot through. And so when you're seeing it, why do you think he's having so many more shot attempts blocked this year?
Well, I mean, you know more of the numbers than me, but if we look at the power play, it feels like right now the Oilers' power play is quite stagnant. Let's just go to the 6-on-5 last night, just as an example. Montreal had a perfect 5-on-a-die setup, and the Oilers were just passing it around the outside. So now when Evan gets that puck, and not that I'm saying it come to in that situation, but in a 5-on-4, when he gets that puck, if there hasn't been any moving, it makes it really hard, and you're just shooting into pads because people aren't out of position. I think when the Oilers are best, especially on their power play, the puck is being moved around. There's a quick shot on the net. Now there's a recovery. Now there's 2-3 passes, and someone's wide open to shoot it, and so you're not under pressure. But when you're stagnant, the D-men are forced, like Bouchard, to try to create something that isn't there. It's hard to beat someone standing still. Now, he's an elite player that can do it, but you're not going to work all the time. Even the best players sometimes get blocked. So I think that's where I see the challenge for him with his shot blocking issue.
Okay. If you were in charge of the Oilers defense, Ty Emberson last night played the fewest minutes 5-on-5. Despite when he was on the ice, they got outshot. He outshot them 9-1. He did play the most penalty kill minutes. What do you make of the usage last night in Ty Emberson, who I think his game has really improved? Do you think are you surprised by it? Is it a one game off? What do you make of it?
I couldn't agree with you more, especially when you look at some of the other options. And no disrespect to the other players in the lineup, but I mean, is he your sixth best defenseman? Like, I'd like to think he should play more than Josh Brown or Dermott and these types of guys. And I'm 100% with you. I think he's really coming on as a player. You can see that, and you know how I know they trust him? He's out with the first unit penalty kill. He's beside Ekholm, and he's doing a good job. Last night he had some great hits, and he, you know, the word out of San Jose when he came out was that he can hit. Well, he had a really big hit on Slavkovsky last night. He's being more physical. Like, I think his game is really coming into play. So I think he should have more ice time as well. And I was surprised when I saw the sheet. I'm like, what is going on here? How does this guy end up in this situation? But I think it's going to come great because of the fact he is that first unit PK. They trust him. And he's starting to make plays. He's starting to get going. I thought he had a good game last night. I also thought Brett Kulak, his stick placement defending was incredibly great. He is skating so well, and he's just taking away time and space from the other team with his stick placement. I think he's starting to figure it out on that right side when he gets those opportunities. I thought his stick was unreal last night. One of the best I've seen in a while.
Getting a little excited over the stick placement, aren't you?
Oh, buddy. Well, you know what? Because listen, how can I say this? He's not the most physical guy. He's strong. He's a strong guy. I'm not saying he's scared, but he's intimidating. He's being hard to play against. By the way, he's taking away space.
I think we lost Struds. Yeah. No, I would agree. He takes away space with his speed. He also, his speed is such a weapon because he closes space. It's thing that I talk about a lot with when I think people realize, like, when Darnell Nurse, there's some things you don't like about his game. I get it. But when Darnell Nurse is playing well, which he had been up until the injury, him and Kulak take up so much ice just because of their speed. And then, the length too. And Struddy's back with us now. So, I'll let you pick off about just how he's able to check with his speed more than anything.
Yeah, so, everyone defends in different ways. So you look at, let's look at David Savard last night. That guy is just a mauler. He's going to take you in the corner. He's going to try to squeeze you, squish you, take away your space with his strength. He's like a square, right? He's a Canadian Ratko Gudas. And then you've got Brett Kulak, who is really good at skating. And what he does is that he keeps his stick right in front of your stick, so it denies you the ability to make a pass or make a shot. And, not to compare myself to him, but I wasn't that fast, so I had to always have a good stick placement. So when you have the stick placement, you might not take away all their options, but you're taking out some options. So now as a partner, I can look over and say, okay, he's denying that passing lane, so he's going to have to shoot. So now I can prepare myself for what most likely is going to be a shot by that player, rather than you see a lot of guys skate over with their stick in the air, and now that guy can do whatever he wants, shoot, pass, whatever, kick some ass, whatever he wants to do, he can make it happen. So I think just watch the way he's doing, especially on the right side. He's starting to figure it out as he come across. Because usually when you're playing on your offside, the left winger's got a left shot. So now you have your stick on the outside, and you can reach so much further. And now that guy's really running out of trouble. So he keeps going to the wall, and then you can come over and hit him and close him out. So, I think Brett Kulak's figuring it out, and it's because of his skating. He's such a good skater, he's able to do that.
Struddy, have yourself a great evening. We will chat with you next Tuesday.
You don't want my scouting report on Tommy Cutlett, new coach of the New York Giants, or we're just going to let that slide?
Oh, sure. Give me your update on Tommy Cutlets.
Well, we're hoping he's going to lose, buddy. We're going to lose. He's going to take us right down to the bottom.
Well, dude, trust me. I don't. I think it's a very good scouting report. I think it's very accurate, except they're going to lose while Tracy runs for 140 yards every game. So that'll be good.
I know. We may have found a running back. That's exciting.
Yeah, that is good. So I got him in fantasy. So it's the one thing I'm cheering about for the Giants. So there you go.
Me too. I love it, buddy. Okay, well, enjoy the game tonight, guys. Should be a good one. I'm looking forward to it.
There you go.
Good team.
You betcha. That's Jason Strudwick joins us every Tuesday. When we come back, Dave McCarthy from SiriusXM on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. It's Lotto Max, $70 million. Get your tickets. PlayAlberta.ca.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza, the meats, the works, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality topping. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Ain't it beautiful?
The inventory is unprecedented. Volvo Cars Edmonton is proud to boast an amazing selection of in-stock Volvo XC40s, 60s, and 90s. Visit Volvo Cars Edmonton today and experience the exemplary service you've come to expect and the affordable luxury only found with Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference.
Volvo of Edmonton.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take 1 for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready? I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take 1.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love? With no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year.
Are you always like this?
Yep, unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The Nissan All-In Clear-Out event is on now, where you can lease or finance select remaining 2024 Rogue from 0.99% for 24 months. Plus, qualified Nissan owners may receive up to $500 in loyalty bonus. Go all in with the Nissan Rogue and enjoy the 1.5-liter VC turbo engine for a perfect balance of power and efficiency. And with standard all-wheel drive, you're ready for wherever the drive takes you. Conditions apply. Quantities limited. See Nissan.ca for details.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
The one you turn to at times like these, to help with details, to help balance work, family, feeling overwhelmed, to help with the pain. Where do you turn when that's the one you've lost?
I'm Kirsty Smolik, 3rd-generation president of Park Memorial Funeral Home. We're here to be a place of comfort, to take care of details, and help you plan a meaningful remembrance. We're also here beyond the funeral, with grief support events throughout the year to provide a path forward. At times like these, you can turn to Park Memorial.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team at Old Strathcona has special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
3:35. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Halley with you, Sports 1440, game day. Oilers in Ottawa. Lots of texts flying in, 833-401-1440. My goodness, do you have a text from Amanda that came in? Like, would have to read you. This might be the worst coaching decision I've ever heard of in minor sport. Like, I can't even fathom it. I had to read it 3 times. So we might even talk about that later. Like, I do think at times, and this is where associations need to pay attention. Yes, I understand it's a volunteer position. And you can't have coaches making decisions like this. Like, it is mind-blowing. I'll read it later. And any coaches out there, I would love to hear the feedback from coach, because this might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard a coach do that thinks going to benefit their team. It's beyond stupid. Anywho, let's go around the NHL. Brought to you by McDonald's, and it's Tuesday. You know what that means? The Fan Day deals, baby. Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. You can download the McDonald's app. It's only available through the app. Will you get a $4 Big Mac, $4 McChicken, or $4 fish fillet? Check it out at McDonald's through the app, as Dave McCarthy from SiriusXM joins us. And Dave, the Boston Bruins have done it again. Bruce Cassidy had the second best winning percentage when he was a coach in the NHL. He got fired. He left, went to Vegas, won a cup. Now Jim Montgomery comes in, and since he's been the head coach, which is only 184 games, 2 seasons plus this year, he has the most wins, the best record in the NHL, but he gets axed. Make it make sense.
I have a hard time making this one make sense, to be honest with you right now, because of all of the reasons that you just said. They performed very well under the tenure of Jim Montgomery in Boston, save for the start of this year where, yeah, they've been up and down to an extent. But when you look at the standings right now, they're still in a playoff position at this point. I think a little hasty in this case to fire Jim Montgomery. Now, look, I get the fact that they haven't performed to the standard that they expect and that they demand, but I still think you have to let a coach who's had this level of success over the last couple of years have a bit of leeway to try to work the group out of it. Otherwise, what is the point? You can't fire a coach. Well, I guess you can, but to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense to fire a coach the first time there is any element of adversity whatsoever. And that appears to be what they've done here. So, look, I think the biggest issue right now is that Jeremy Swayman cannot stop the puck. He's not been good at all. You look at his numbers, they're disastrous. And they handed him the keys to the car this year after signing him to the big deal and moving on from Linus Ullmark to clear the way for him to have an undisputed pathway to the top job in the net. And after missing training camp and signing late and then getting in the mix once the regular season had already begun, he's not holding up his end of the bargain right now. So as I always say, you want me to show you a good coach, I'll show you a good goaltender, and usually vice versa. And right now, if they'd been getting more consistent, more reliable goaltending, I think Boston would be in a lot different position in the standings. Not that they're in a bad position right now to begin with. So it surprised me a little bit considering the success he's had. And quite honestly, the fact they didn't lock him up in the offseason, given the first 2 years of success that he had in Boston, surprised me to begin with. So once again, remain surprised.
Yeah, it's a big surprise. Joe Sacco will take over as interim head coach. Do you think he stays as interim, or do they go elsewhere?
I think it depends on the next 20 games or so. If they turn it around and they start playing up to the level that they expect and they solidify themselves in a playoff spot, which is not entirely without question right now, because you look below them in the standings, who the hell's catching them? Ottawa, Buffalo, Detroit? I'm not convinced that any one of those teams is going to catch Boston, and they haven't yet, despite how quote unquote poorly Boston has played. So, yeah, I think it'll depend on how they perform here moving forward. Who do you look at? Do you look at somebody outside the organization? Do you look at a Joel Quenneville? Do you try to go down that road if there's interest there? Do you look at a Gerard Gallant? Somebody that might be available right now, maybe, but I think they'll give Joe Sacco a run here to see what he can do. But he'd already been on the staff, so it's not like you're getting a fundamentally different voice. You're just getting the same voice in a different role. We'll see. But like I said, I think it depends on how they play over the next 20 games or so, which, as I say, I wouldn't be surprised if they start playing quite a bit better if Jeremy Swayman is able to get back to the level that he had played at for most of last year.
Well, yeah. Well, as Kevin Woodley outlined many times, they need goalies to be great based on, how the players have played in front of them. It hasn't been great. And like Lindholm's been a dud so far as a free agent signing. Same with Zadorov. Neither one of them has really lived up to things. So I don't know. To me, that's two coaches where if your player's souring guys that quick, then I start to wonder maybe there's too much of an entitlement issue there. So we'll see. The GM wants to blame the coach all the time. Like he can't have many more hirings if you're Don Sweeney as the GM. All you've done is won. Boston's got the most wins of the last 7 years in the NHL. Now I get they haven't won a Stanley Cup, okay, but they've had pretty good success. So I'm going to go on record right now and say the next head coach ain't coming close to having the same record as Jim Montgomery.
No, not a chance. I mean, the record that he put together in 2 and a bit seasons is outrageous. What was he there for 184 games and they only lost 41 times, something like that under his tenure? I mean, you look at a lot of teams in this league, Buffalo, Detroit, Columbus, Chicago, Anaheim over this last run and say to them, would you trade Boston's level of success for every single one of those teams would love to have the success that Boston has had, but in doing so, they've set the bar really high where anything outside of what looks to be legitimate contention for a Stanley Cup is deemed unacceptable. But again, I think if you got a good coach, which I think a lot of people look at Jim Montgomery as a good coach, this really is the first element of adversity that's struck during the regular season. Are they holding against him the fact that in 2 years ago they were up 3-1 in the first round after that unbelievable regular season? They lost to Florida in the first round. They only got to the second round last year. Is lack of playoff success factoring into this decision as well? Maybe. But, I'm still of the mind that you can't just let the players off the hook at the first element of discord, of adversity. I was surprised to see them make this move.
Dave, news out of Vancouver today that JT Miller is stepping away from the Canucks for personal reasons. No word on how long that is, but that if that extends any period of time, that's a huge blow for them.
It is. I mean, Elias Pettersson better start to be the man right now because JT Miller was a guy that was really playing well and has been, I think, the de facto leader of this team for the last couple of years. Now Elias Pettersson is going to have to play like the guy who demanded the money that he did around trade deadline time last year and ultimately got it after a bit of a contentious negotiation. So it's going to be incumbent on him. If he continues to play just inconsistently, poorly at times, just like a guy, right? Not an elite level player. Yeah, that will be a significant blow to this Vancouver team. Also consider the fact they've done this to this point without Thatcher Demko. And I don't know if you've heard, it's still unclear as to when he gets back in the lineup. Hearing rumblings that maybe they're getting to that point, but nothing definitive at this point. You take away a JT Miller or Thatcher Demko, you can only start to sustain injuries for so long when there or absences, I guess in this case to JT Miller, for so long when they are absences of key personnel. And so you look beneath them in the standings. Is Edmonton going to get it together? I'm still of the mind that they will, albeit a disappointing outing last night. I think they're trying to recreate the 16-17 Maple Leafs with their move today, picking up Kasperi Kapanen to go with Zach Hyman and Connor Brown. But I really do believe that at some point Edmonton will go on a run where they reel off like 6 of 8 or 9 of 12 and really put themselves in a good spot. Will that coincide if Vancouver hits the skids for a little bit here and then they find themselves having a battle? it's a huge absence, because I think not only is JT Miller a guy that's been really effective on the ice, he's been the heart and soul of this team. That's a tough guy to take out of the equation.
Lastly, Austin Matthews went over to Germany. This started out as day-to-day. Now it's been over a week. He had to go to Germany for some other thing. Any idea what's going on there?
Well, it's coming up on 3 weeks now, actually. He last played the weekend prior to the Hall of Fame. So, time is taken away. Brad Treliving spoke today, and he continued to insist that there have been no setbacks, that things are progressing well. And he said this is nothing alarming. It's a doctor that Austin has consulted with in the past. And he said it was more of just a checkup and to have a little treatment done, quote, on his thing. Wouldn't say exactly what the thing is. But he continues to insist that it's not alarming. Now, he also said Sunday against Utah is a possibility. If not, then he said likely next week when they go on the road to Florida. So, I guess that's reassuring. And I don't think he'd be saying things of that nature if he knew in his mind Matthews was still a month plus away. You'd look pretty foolish if you're like, yeah, maybe Sunday. Yeah, if not, then next week. And then come out at the end of next week and say, yeah, actually he's going to be like over a month away. I really don't believe he would say that, but in saying all that, I don't know too many guys dealing with a minor issue that travels to Germany to have a consult. I mean, that's not around the corner. So,
no.
Look, all I can tell you is they've been very closeted with the information beyond upper body. But it doesn't seem like anybody in Maple Leafs management is expressing significant cause for concern or alarm that this is going to be something that will drag into the second half of the year where Matthews becomes unavailable when they need him most. And in the meantime, they've gone 5-1 without him in the lineup, so they continue to buy themselves time. Beyond that, I can't issue any more cause for concern other than just on the surface. The fact that you go to Germany for a, quote, checkup seems like not something everybody would do.
Yeah, that is fair. What day did you put up your Christmas tree, Dave?
Yes, I did. It's been up for a little while.
Like what day exactly?
Do you really want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
November 1st.
That's exactly right. I didn't turn the camera this way for the last couple of weeks because I didn't want to elicit the questions that I know I'd get when I did. But it makes me happy and it looks great. Look how nice that looks.
It's very well decorated, Dave.
Thank you.
Very, very much a stickler to detail. I like that.
You can see the banister above my shoulder too.
Oh,
so there's multiple components here.
Nice. I like it. Davey, good stuff, my man. Enjoy it. Have a great day.
Okay, buddy. I'll see you.
There you go. That's Dave McCarthy from SiriusXM. We didn't get into it because we didn't have time, but what about Ovechkin? He had 2 more goals last night. He's up to 15, then he got hurt in the third period. Brutal. He needs 27 goals the rest of this season. They're saying week to week, but what does that mean? Like that could be a month. That sucks for Ovechkin because he has been on fire. Quick break. We'll come back. We got 5 questions and more on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
He is back. And Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Weather forecast? Ugh.
Savings forecast, cha-ching. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 at Fountain Tire until December 14th. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire, we're on this road together.
Ready to tackle your toughest tasks? Edmonton Kubota has you covered with the all-new M8 Series tractor. With powerful 181 and 201 horsepower engines, Cummins power, and loader readiness, it's built to handle any challenge. And now, for a limited time, get a free 4-year extended warranty when you drive off with an M8 Series tractor. Don't miss out on this unbeatable offer. Visit Edmonton Kubota today and power up your productivity. Edmonton Kubota, where power meets performance.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
Your furnace is dead. It's time to replace it before winter crushes you. Legacy Heating and Cooling is practically there already. Yeah, we're working in your basement. Doing a replacement. The work is so earnestly building your legacy. With no payments and no interest for 1 year, you gotta call Legacy. Replacing your dying furnace before it's too late, that's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Before every big interview, every big presentation, every big moment, I've always looked in the mirror and put on my game face. But lately, my eyes look tired, my brow looks old, and I'm starting to think it's game over.
Stop thinking and start seeing me, Dr. Vance Elliott, for skin refreshing treatments designed to give you a fresh and natural appearance.
He didn't make me look weird. No, he gave me back my game face.
Book your consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Prime Fasteners and Tools, your trusted source for the latest Milwaukee products and deals. Prime Fasteners and Tools offers power tools, accessories, storage solutions, and the fasteners you need to get your project done on time and on budget. Whether you're a contractor or a weekend warrior, everyone is welcome at Prime Fasteners and Tools. For the best Milwaukee experience, visit Prime Fasteners and Tools, located at 12304 184th Street.
The Oilers are back home in Rogers Place on a Thursday night, 7 p.m., ready to take on the Minnesota Wild. Tickets are selling fast, so don't miss your chance to catch the action live. Head over to EdmontonOilers.com/tickets to get yours before they're gone.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.352. We'll get to 5 questions a little bit later on. We're running tight up against. We got the pregame show coming up. A lot of text flying in, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, what about Costin out of San Jose? Well, here's the thing. The Oilers are looking for guys who can score. Now, I know Clem Costin had a great run in Edmonton. He really liked it. It was short-lived, but he had a good time, got paid, great. But he doesn't kill penalties. And so when I look at the Oilers' left wing, is he going to fit in your top 6? No. So I'm not sure where I see him. Right? They got Podkolzin, who is similar to him, but much more reliable defensively. That's kind of where I see it. So not at $2 million. And like Edmonton right now, they're looking for some finishers. Costin does have a good shot. Is he a guy who's a real option to be in your top 6? No, he had a great run in Edmonton. If you look at his before and then after Edmonton areas, Doesn't mean great. Now, hey, maybe who knows? He comes back to Edmonton and he'll feel great and it would be good, but I'd be surprised at this point. Plus, you have to give up an asset to get him. So I don't think that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to save their assets to look for, they're probably looking for a defenseman for sure. And then we'll go from there. Hey, guys, what about Derek Ryan? At what point do they have to give Noah Philp a better chance? I think that time's coming, man. Honestly, it's going to come up on the 20-game mark tonight here. Derek Ryan doesn't have a goal. It's not overly physical. The penalty kill is terrible. Now, it's been better for 4 games, but what element is he bringing? That's the question they're going to have to ask themselves. What element is he bringing? And is any of it better than Noah Philp? I don't see it, Cons. I don't know about you, but I don't see it. So that to me is that's another one that has to be answered, and I think it's kind of being answered by his own play. Don't you?
Yeah. I mean, and I liked what Philip brought, right? Like just an enthusiasm, maybe in one of those games like last night where you're just not seeing it. A guy who can go out there and do something, provide a spark. Sometimes people say too dumb not to realize the situation. Just go out there and do something. I thought we saw that in the past too with certain players coming up from Bakersfield when the team needed that little injection at a bit of a lull. They're just not getting it. And too many passengers, too many people watching, waiting for things to happen. You just like to see something to give the team a bit of a pulse, a bit of a spark in those situations.
It is game day. Oilers in Ottawa to take on the Senators. Lineup change tonight will be Stu Skinner starting in goal. Kasperi Kapanen was claimed on waivers today, but will not be. He's not going to make it from St. Louis to Ottawa. He'll join the team in Edmonton, and they have Minnesota Thursday. The Rangers on Saturday night. And speaking of the Thursday game, if you want to go, you can get your tickets to see the Oilers and the Wild. Go to EdmontonOilers.com/tickets to get your seats. There's a few great seats left available for Thursday night. The Wild. This is not the Wild of old, buddy. They got Kirill Kaprizov, one of the most exciting players in the league. So check it out. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Stop in at Fountain Tire right now. Hey, if you haven't done it, do it. Winter's here. Officially tomorrow. Brr, it's cold. You need your winter tires on. If you're having trouble storing your summers, don't worry. You can do it at Fountain Tire. You got a great storage deal. So go to fountaintire.com, final location near you.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
The architect of Edmonton's 2015 Grey Cup championship team is returning as Ed Hervey is the new Vice President of Football Operations and General Manager. They'll make that announcement official at a press conference tomorrow morning down at Commonwealth Stadium. The Oilers have claimed forward Kasperi Kapanen off waivers from the St. Louis Blues. He's got a goal in 10 games this season with St. Louis. The Oilers are in action, of course, taking on the Ottawa Senators just over an hour away. We've got pregame coverage coming up next with Andrew Walker, Jason Gregor, and former NHLer Landon Ferraro. You've also got the Lightning in Pittsburgh. Blues host the Wild Panthers, taking on the Jets, Flames, and Islanders, and the Rangers up against the Canucks. In the Association NBA Cup play continues tonight. The Celtics looking to spoil the perfect season for the Cavaliers, who are currently 15-0. That gets going at 5. You've also got the Pelicans, Mavs, Thunder, Spurs, Lakers, Jazz, and the Nuggets taking on the Grizz. Coming up next, pregame coverage with Andrew Walker. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
It's the biggest game of the season. The Oil Kings Teddy Bear Toss presented by The Brick.
Sunday, November 24th, bring your new stuffed bears to the game, and when the Oil Kings score their first goal, the fur will fly onto the ice.
Help Santa's Anonymous collect thousands of bears this holiday season for families in need.
See the Oil Kings in their special Teddy Bear Toss-themed jerseys as they face the Red Deer Rebels.
Teddy Bear Toss presented by The Brick, 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon at Rogers Place.
Tickets are selling quickly. Great family entertainment starts at just $20 a seat at oilkings.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready? I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling. The Junior Prospects Hockey League would like to congratulate its athletes for competing in the BCHL Showcase in Chilliwack.
Liam Pugh left circle hold, shoots, scores!
The 18U division put on a show in front of BCHL, NCAA, and NHL scouts, and proudly represented the league as they continue to develop as players and people. Thanks to the groundbreaking Universal Affiliation Agreement, unsigned JPHL players can suit up for multiple BCHL teams in the same season. Next up is the JPHL's Winter Championships in December.
Portions of this hour brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now. GMC, get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
Sports 1440 presents the Cross Mitsubishi Pregame Show, powered by Cross Mitsubishi at 34th Avenue and 96th Street. They offer a huge selection of new and used vehicles. Check them out today. Now, here's your pregame host, Andrew Walker.
Hey, everybody, 4 o'clock. Welcome in. It's Andrew Walker, joined by Jason Gregor, taking over the Jason Gregor Show for an hour before we get back to Greg's. Connor Halley with us as well. Oilers coming off, as Greg's has been talking about it, perhaps their worst effort, or at least the second half of this game, was their worst effort since the first 3 games of the year, in which they started 0-3 on home ice. They could use a win to wrap up this road trip, no doubt about it. They're in Ottawa tonight. We're an hour away from puck drop. This is the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show. Visit Cross Mitsubishi today. Drive your ambition, 9605 34th Ave and crossmitsubishi.ca. We're going to play over-under for the River Cree. We'll hear from our game day analyst, Landon Ferraro, for Honda Canada, coming up in about 20 minutes as well. So I was driving around today, Greg, so I was listening to your show. Good chat with Steve Staios. Always loved that guy. Not a huge surprise that he's found his way into management. I always thought he was a pretty thoughtful, smart guy. And Ottawa's taken longer, probably a lot longer, to get to where they want to be, and they're not there yet. But I do think they're going in the right direction. I think there's some similarities between these two clubs tonight. Should be good, but Oilers got to be a bit desperate, I think.
Oh, God, they played terrible last night. Like some games you lose when you play well, and we've seen it this year. The Oilers can't score to save their life. Last night wasn't that issue. The Oilers barely generate. That was one of the easiest shutouts Montembeau's ever had. They might have had 3 good chances in that game.
Well, first period, I thought they toyed with them. First period, but again, when those pucks don't go in, we haven't seen this for a long time from this team, where the pucks don't go in early, they start to kind of maybe question themselves a little bit, like, oh, is it going to be another one of those nights, right? They've already been shut up by Winnipeg, shut out by New Jersey. That was on an Amazon game. Shut out last night. They nearly got shut out in Columbus, and Ekholm ruined it late. But, they've been down this road before. And after they dominated the first, I felt like they sagged a little bit, kind of like that Calgary game where they had a bunch of goals disallowed, and then they kind of got down on themselves, right?
Yeah, no, it wasn't good. Now, I need you to first, are you a Bruce Springsteen fan?
Not to the level of
like, you're not a diehard.
No, not
you
like
can respect
not like Brad Fay and Ryan Leslie. They're insane, right?
Oh yeah,
those guys. Yeah, like they've been to like 50 Springsteen shows.
Really?
Oh yeah, they're
nuts. So they love it.
So yeah. So I'm not like that.
Okay, because we have a loge seat with 6 seats for tonight's concert. 6 seats and a parking pass to give away. I was supposed to do it last hour, so we're gonna do it right now, very quickly. So anybody out there, you want to go see the Boss tonight? A loge table for 6. So number 1, you can go and you're gonna have 6 friends. You're gonna have a hell of a time.
Might be some Cougars at the Springsteen show.
Very possible.
Right, and then after that, right on the rocks.
Yes.
Perhaps, yeah.
So here's the question. Can you tell me which album was the song Bobby Jean on? Which Bruce Springsteen album was the song Bobby Jean on?
See, I'm not that big of a fan.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to make it too easy, so I think because somebody who's going to go to these are great tickets from Trilogy Oilfield. We wanted it to be somebody who understands and respects Bruce Springsteen. So
is that tonight?
It's tonight.
Oof.
Yeah, so it's a hell of a 6 seats and a parking pass, a loge for Bruce Springsteen. So make sure you can go. We don't want to give these to somebody who can't go. All right, so text in 833-401-1440. Which album was Bobby Jean on for Bruce Springsteen? There you go. Sort of hijack it, but we forgot to do it last hour.
No, it's all good. So this is the answer I would have given, the one that's blowing up the text line right now. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. So Cons will pick a random winner here. We'll give everybody a few minutes, see if they get it right. A few people have had it wrong, but lots have it right. So it's a hell of an album. He had a lot of good albums, but later on we'll go over. I think that's his best album.
I like, who doesn't like music? I love music, but I've never been one to like. I'm not to follow around a band or a singer and see him 50 times. I've never quite I saw The Hip 3 or 4 times, which was awesome. And I don't want to say it was enough because it probably wasn't enough. And they have such a long discography, of course. But yeah, they'd be the closest thing for me. I love Pearl Jam, but I don't go crazy. I've seen them a couple times. But The Hip was, I'd give anything to see The Hip again.
Well, yeah. I'm with you though. I love music. There's and I've seen some shows where I'm like, oh my God, these people are unreal.
But you see it once.
Yeah.
Right. I'll see anybody. I'll see Britney Spears once or Bruno Mars once. Sure.
Oh yeah.
Sign me up.
Bruno Mars is unreal. I saw him live and he's fantastic. Fantastic.
Most of the concerts I've been to, if we're kind of like halftime shows, to be honest. I've seen more artists at halftime at the American Thanksgiving or Grey Cup. I've been to 6 or 7 of those. I've probably seen more concerts at halftime than I have actual concerts.
Oh, okay. I never really went to concerts till kind of my 30s, but then I made up for it. I went to a lot.
Yeah.
So
it's funny. So we play hockey, just like a shinny skate at Argyle Arena on Wednesday afternoons. And now the bar is called Union.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be.
That used to be Goose Looney, right? Thunderdome.
Yeah, bunch of stuff. And so they on the marquee, every couple Wednesdays or whatever, our parking lot's kind of closed. We got to park on the street because there's like a big tour bus there. And I always check to see who it is. And they're playing Union, so they're not huge, but there's definitely been some, I remember them, like pretty funny. Just some like very not B-list, maybe some one-hit wonders or whatever, but it's always funny to see the marquee at Argyle Arena to see who's playing next door on a Wednesday night.
Oh, the Argyle Arena is great. You used to be in Goose Looney's or Thunderdome. You'd have a few beers. You could watch a men's league game on a Saturday night. It was classic because they kind of have that round bubble thing.
Yeah, they don't anymore.
No, I know they closed it, but that was hilarious to be up there just chuckling, watching a few. It's actually saw a pretty good tilt up there once there was a scrap in men's league, which I always chuckled at.
Who was there last year? I'm so bad. I'm awful with name that tune. He has a really high voice. I believe in a thing called love. Remember? It was kind of like had like a throwback 70s sound.
The Darkness?
The Darkness, yeah. The Darkness. That's the kind of band that plays at the Union now.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Bring it on.
So
bring it on. Well, we will pick a winner here during the break. So let's get back to
Pregame. So it is the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show, of course, and let's rehash the same topics basically that you've been going on about. Including, I suppose, the news of the day. We're at a point now, because what are we at now? We're 9-8-2, so we're at 19 games.
Yeah, coming up on a quarter mark.
So I think that's a pretty good mark, I think, to evaluate, right? Like no one's liked the way the Oilers have played, but it's not time to panic or anything like that. You've seen the first 20. A year ago at this time, they fired Jay Woodcroft. They were 5-11, and they had been like 2-2 under Woodcroft or something or under Knobloch, I should say. So they're 5-11-1 or 5-11-2, not great. And they were just about to start what was that 8-game winning streak, and then they lost a couple, and then they rattled off 16 in a row, and the rest is kind of history. So where they are now, the no goals. And they're on a pretty, not a record pace, but given their output of goals in regulation to this point of the season, like there's a couple teams in the decade of darkness that had more. Like, they're not scoring. Like we know that, and you got to continue to, for me anyway, Greg's, you got to continue to trust that the Hymans, the Bouchards, the Hopkins, like. You got to trust that those guys will score, eventually, right? You really don't have any other option. But I think, with the Kapanen thing today, I think it's just ironic that it's the Blues, to be honest. I think they saw a guy that can skate. And he doesn't really solve your scoring problem. but he can fly. And I always thought he should be a better player than, getting placed on waivers by the St. Louis Blues. Like, I really liked him in Toronto, and he never quite fit in Pittsburgh, and who knows with the Blues. But to me, taking a chance on him, you get Arvidsson back in the lineup. I agree with you. I think we're getting pretty close to Noah Philp time. And, you gave a guy like Derek Ryan, and you saw Corey Perry. I still like Perry on this team, but you saw through 20 games. All right, this is what it is. This is where we need to go, right? Our special teams have to get better. We got to score more. Yeah, we do got to get more timely saves. And the injuries are starting to hurt a little bit too, right? This was a team that was really healthy a year ago. They've already lost McDavid for a few. Nurse is out, for a week or two. This will be Arvidsson's fourth missed game now, right? For a guy that struggled with injury, it hasn't been a great start. So today I do find the Kapanen thing interesting, because to me it's, listen, we need to get a little speedier on the wings. There's no doubt.
Yeah, well, Kapanen, my concern with him is the pilot light isn't always burning bright. So we'll see if, what. Hey, some guys, it takes a few stops in the NHL to all of a sudden be like, wait, now if you're Kapanen and you come into Edmonton, and this guy's he had 5 straight years where he scored between 32 and 44 points. Had 20 goal season as career high. He scored 15 and 16 in other years. So you look and he's like, hey man, maybe I could be Warren Fogle here. And you know what? Come in and to have myself a really good year and earn some money, because right now the Oilers are dying for. I don't care what your past is. If you can come in here and pot a goal or two, they'll put you with McDavid and Draisaitl, because they're dying for anybody in their top 6 to score a goal.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about this yesterday. I quite like Podkolzin on your fourth line. Like that's where I like him. I don't think it's necessarily fair to him to, he's playing on the second line 5-on-5 with Draisaitl, and that's just not where he's going to stick long term. And I know guys are injured, and Evander Kane's on the way back as well. All of that, but Podkolzin has impressed me enough where I'm excited to see what he can do in 11 minutes on your fourth line. That's where he belongs to me.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind Podkolzin on your third line even. He needs to finish. There's lots of things I like about his game, but you can't play in the top 6 and never score a goal.
No, of course. Yeah.
And so that's a concern. But Nugent-Hopkins has 1 goal. And at some point, he just played his 900th game last night, and you need way more from 93.
Yeah.
Because when was the last time you looked and said, wow, we had a really good chance?
Well, last night he drills the crossbar, but
yeah,
that's not me defending Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. He has to be better. Like last night was just a classic. So Nuge drills that crossbar, and then Hyman, I didn't even see the slow-mo replay if he just swung and missed on that great setup.
I think he just missed it.
Puck hopped a little, that's just number one, that's got to go in. And number two, we've watched multiple years where that does go in. Of course it goes in, right? It's the Oilers. That always goes in. And they went on that nice little run, right? They got 7 against the Canucks and a couple overtime wins and 4 against the Islanders. It really looked like that offense woke up, and then over the last 2, it's quieted down a little bit. And if it's not McDavid or Draisaitl, there's nobody else right now.
No, not at all. They got a lot of guys they need scoring, man. It's every player on this team except for even McDavid, slightly shooting percentages down from where it was overall last year. Not huge, but Draisaitl's up, Corey Perry is up, and Connor Brown is up. Everybody else is down. They got a lot of guys who got to score.
Yeah, Adam Henrique had the one in Toronto. You think that would get him going, but you're right, he's below pace. Janmark's been okay. The puck's not going in. He has 7 helpers, but
yeah, his play's fine, but you still got to chip in. He's never been a huge scorer. Doesn't shoot the puck very much. He's got 7 shots on the season. So, and he's never been a high volume shoot guy at all. But I don't mind his play. At least he's on the ice making plays. You got a lot of guys that are on the ice making nothing happen.
Okay, I want to get to this right away so people have a chance to get their answers in. And I already see, I love this. People just preemptively put over because they know the over-under's coming, and they're living and dying by the over no matter what. We joke about it, but it is over-under for River Cree. So here's what you do. Give us a text on the Weiss Johnson text line, 1-833-401-1440. All you got to do is say over-under, and if you're correct, we'll pick a random winner, and you can... we'll give you $100 to the River Cree Resort and Casino. redeemable at the hotel, restaurants, and gift shop. River Cree Resort and Casino. Catch all your favorite sports, including UFC and boxing, live on the big screens at Tap 25 and in the center bar. Visit rivercreeresort.com. Want to talk about Stuart Skinner a little bit. He's in net tonight. I feel this is a big one for him. Probably has to quiet the noise a little bit. So it's an opportunity, right? His career save percentage is .907. And that includes, obviously, this year, which has been below par. Last year, kind of as the number one starter, he was at a .905. And the year previous, .914, even better when he was the finalist for the Calder Trophy. And then .913 in a very brief stint in 21-22. So .907. This year he's at .877. I think it's well noted that the Oilers don't need 93% goaltending, but they need between 90 and 91, right? Or even 90 and 91.5. So let's say over or under. His career average is .907. Let's say over or under .910 tonight for Stuart Skinner. I would guess that text line, given the vibe of the fan base here in the postgame show, we're going to get a lot of unders as a guess. But if you're wanting to weigh in on the over-under, it's all about Stuart Skinner tonight. Over or under a .910 save percentage, so 91%, which would be a pretty solid game. We'll see what Ottawa throws at him. So yeah, just send us a text on the Weiss Johnson text line, and you could be the winner. We'll let you know postgame who we choose. It is a big one, I think, for Stuart Skinner. Would love to see him get stop 92 or 93% of the shots tonight.
Just so you know, he's had 3 games this year above .910.
Yes. So, hey, listen, the math, if you bet with your head or your heart, right? That's the big question. The math would indicate an under, because that's what this season has been for everybody, unders. If you just went straight in betting on Oiler players not to score, you'd be a very rich man. Right? Because a guy like Draisaitl, a guy like McDavid, I think they pay more generally to not score than they do to score. So it's either with your head and you say under, or it's with your heart, right? You're a believer in Stuart Skinner. You think he's going to bounce back. You think he's going to, because these guys, they're not robots. They hear the noise, right? They know, not even hear the noise. A guy like Stuart Skinner knows he has not been good enough. And, there's what people want. There's what will happen. There's what can happen. Stuart Skinner's not going anywhere. We talked about this yesterday. I don't even know, even if you decided we need to go get a goalie, I don't know who that's going to be. This is not 2006, and there's not, Dwayne Rolson sitting out there in Minnesota saying, that's fine, we'll go with Manny Fernandez. It's just not going to happen. So Stuart Skinner is the guy come hell or high water. And I suppose you could see, Pickard wade in and steal more starts. But, the time is about now. We're 20 games in. We're about to be 20 games in. And for Stuart Skinner, when you're not scoring goals, and it won't last forever. Like, I'm confident sitting here. I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. It's been mind-numbingly frustrating for 20 games. They will score. That's how they're built. The offense will come around some way, some shape, some form. I'm sure of it. Right? Like we might be done with the President's Trophy conversation. We might be done with the home ice through the Western Conference playoffs. Who knows? Maybe the start has been that tepid. You can't expect to get a 8-game winning streak and follow it up with a 16-game winning streak. But the conversation is not over for playoffs, and it's not over for the division. It's not over for home ice, although the division might be getting away from you a little bit. But a big part of that is, okay, the first 20 didn't go the way you thought. Stuart Skinner was very important to the turnaround last year. You could make the case he saved the season when they could not get a save. Knobloch comes in and then Skinner took part. So he's obviously important, but they're going to need, I don't think he has been as dreadful as some would have it out to be. I think the number one topic of this year is the pucks not going in the net, but pretty important guy and pretty important game.
Oh yeah, no. Skinner needs to be sound. It's more so plays off the rush that he needs to improve on. And the Oilers got to find some guys who just bury their chances. Because if they don't, if you expect to win only with your goalie giving up 2, I just think it's hard to do every night.
Real quickly for Nisku Ford, the lineups were all this month. You can take advantage of up to $10,000 in rebates or finance rates as low as 0%. Details at niskuford.ca. Unchanged for the Oilers. No Kapanen tonight, obviously. Assuming that Arvidsson is good to go soon, where do you slot in Kapanen for a little look-see here?
Well, that's a good question. So if Arvidsson's ready, which I'm not sold he's going to be ready, so I'm going to say
I thought he'd be ready.
Yeah,
last game
and skated it all with him. So I'm going to say Kapanen's going to start on Draisaitl's right wing for first game because I don't think Arvidsson's ready.
So Podkolzin and Draisaitl and Kapanen.
No.
No,
it might be
not what
might be Nugent-Hopkins.
Yeah, I was going to say not what they went out. We need to get. No. We need to get.
Well, Jeff Skinner's
got. We need to get wingers for number 29. That was the whole offseason plan, and then he's playing with potentially.
Jeff Skinner's got to play in your top 6 tonight. I don't care what your other guys aren't scoring. At some point, just put the guy there who has the best chance to score.
I did see a little bit of jump from Skinner last game, which was, I mean, we're really grasping at straws here in a 3-0 loss, but I thought Skinner. It was the most life I had seen from him in a couple of weeks, I would say. Not a ton of minutes there. Obviously, he's not playing on the first unit power play or anything like that. Not that they had a bunch of power plays, but I'm going to take that as a bit of a positive for Jeff Skinner. But you're right. This is a guy you brought in for one reason, and as we talked about yesterday, is he going to have to learn to, literally be more of a two-way guy because you're not there to lead the league in turnovers and doesn't matter as long as you get your 40. He's not that guy anymore. So it's a weird tightrope to walk because he also needs to score. I mean, that's why they brought him in here. But they also brought him in to play potentially with Leon Draisaitl or Connor McDavid. So he's going to get a look again at some point.
Well, you would hope so. Yeah, I think he has to. You didn't bring Jeff Skinner in to be a 4th line winger. You don't pay $3 million to be a 4th line winger.
No.
It's just that simple. Give him more than 12 games. Let's figure it out.
Andrew Walker, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Let's take a break on the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show. We'll come back with our game day analyst, Landon Ferraro. Get you set for the Oilers and the Sens here on Sports 1440.
Pre-matchups are brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. For all your automotive needs, go to your trusted experts in high-quality parts, tools, equipment, and more. That's Napa know-how. The pregame show is brought to you by Cross Mitsubishi. Visit Cross Mitsubishi today and drive your ambition. 9605 34th Ave and crossmitsubishi.ca.
Cold, icy mornings, frozen windshield, snow in the forecast, and your vehicle won't start. You know what that means, Alberta. Winter is coming. Don't get left out of the cold. Head to Napa Auto Parts today to gear up for the frosty months ahead. Winter won't wait, and neither should you. From premium batteries, starters, and alternators to high-quality wiper blades, antifreeze, and snow brushes, Napa Auto Parts has everything you need to get your vehicle winter ready and running. With over 85 locations in Alberta, stop into your local Napa store or visit NapaCanada.com for all your trusted parts, tools, equipment, and automotive needs. That's Napa know-how.
Cross Mitsubishi rolls into winter with the hottest financing available. 0% financing.
2024 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross starts at $26,898 plus tax. A 2024 RVR starts as low as $22,098 plus tax.
Mitsubishi Outlander rolls out as low as $35,498 and tax. 2025 PHEV Outlanders start at just $40,498 plus tax. Get into a Mitsubishi Mirage starting at $16,848 and tax.
Visit Cross Mitsubishi and drive your ambition. 9605 34th Avenue and crossmitsubishi.ca.
Hi, folks. This is Big Al from Discount Diesel Parts. We carry a full line of heavy-duty diesel parts to cover all your engine needs. Heads, in-frame kits, fuel injectors, turbos, oil and water pumps, gasket kits, and so much more. Whether it's for highway trucks, heavy equipment, or farm machinery, we have it at a great price. You can reach us at 780-463-3111 or at discountdiesel.ca. And know that Discount Diesel's got the parts to get it done.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long.
Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Funeral ceremonies are different across communities and cultures, but the need to mourn and remember together after the death of a loved one is something we share. It's hard to heal without a ceremony to provide connection and closure.
Mourning together is essential to the healing process. I'm Kirsty Smolik, third-generation president of Park Memorial Funeral Home. From a large church service to a small family dinner, we create the community connection that provides comfort and honors your loved one's memory at Park Memorial.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site heavy equipment service? Rain or shine, Japa Service Department is here for you. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
It's the Cross Mitsubishi Pregame Show with Andrew Walker on Edmonton's only 24/7 sports station. This is Sports 1440.
Welcome back. It is the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show here on Sports 1440. Andrew Walker, as part of the Jason Gregor Show, joined by Greg's here in studio. We'll take you up until 5. Then Greg's has his final hour as the Oilers play in Ottawa tonight against the Senators. The injury report for Titan Supply, your number one source for rigging supplies in Western Canada. Lift, dig, haul, titansupply.ca for the Oilers. Bitten a little bit by the injury bug. Evander Kane, obviously, but still no Nurse, and still no Victor Arvidsson, which does not bode well for a guy that has struggled with injuries. That was the one caveat, I suppose, to the Oilers signing this guy. Liked his game over the last couple of weeks. Now he hasn't played in 3 in a row. Tonight will be the 4th, I believe. For the Sens, I completely forgot about this. You always love when the Oilers play Ottawa because you get he just started in Ottawa, but you get an up close look at Noah Gregor, who's out right now.
He's got a hip pointer.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what the hell a hip pointer is, but it's just really painful in the hip. So yeah, he's. I heard it in Toronto, and then played one game and didn't go well. So sat out. This is his second game. He'll sit out.
Well, it's it's good news for the Oilers because he always scores against the Oilers. Don't think that everyone doesn't notice that.
Yeah, he scores in Edmonton a few times.
Yeah,
for sure.
I love. I don't know if I love it because I never win. Like I do love sports betting, but I do love playing DraftKings, like DFS. You know, you put your fantasy team together for a night. Don't know if you've ever done that. And it's difficult because it's impossible to win and it's stupid and you should never give any money to it. But I still do because it's just, I don't know. If I'm sitting there, like I enter a team for $10-15 and then I watch all my guys and it gives me entertainment, which is the important thing.
Oh, yeah.
And the closest I've ever come to like really hitting a home run, I was in this big, they call it a GPP. It's like the big tournament with like 100,000 people. And it was last year, late in the season or the season before. Anyway, Oilers played the Sharks.
Yeah.
And of course, Noah's like minimum salary, right? So you can put him in and then you could afford some big guys. You build the team with, 2 centers, 2 lefts, 2 rights, 2 D, and a goalie, and then a utility. And so Noah was like minimum, right? So in there, because like, well, he's scoring. So he had like a goal and assist. And then I stacked it with Oilers. Anyway, everything was coming up Millhouse. And at one point, like midway through the third period, I was in like the $10,000 American slot because all my guys were going crazy. And all I needed was like the back half of the third period, like maybe an Oilers empty net goal or maybe another bonus Gregor or something like that. And then the Oilers put it in absolute like lockdown cruise control. I don't even know if there was a shot. I don't even know if there's a shot on goal for the third period. And you get points for shots and blocks and whatever. And I just watched, like I was in the $10,000 American spot and I was down to 7, then 5. And I ended up winning like $500, but it was a huge disappointment. I just needed one more Gregor goal. That's all I needed. Anyway, so no Noah Gregor tonight. So, so that's, he owns the Oilers.
The good news for the Sens, Dave Perron, they had a scare. He was out a month. Their 4th child, Elizabeth, was born and she had a big mass on her lung. And so it's like any caring father, he took time away from work and luckily, they got it sorted out. And so he returned. Tonight will be his second game for Ottawa, his first home game in a month. So that's good news for them. They get him back. The Sens got some good depth up front with Stützle and Norris and Pinto and Kachuk, and Claude Giroux can still play. Their top 4D is good. They don't give up a lot. Like, this will not be an easy game tonight for Edmonton.
Mm-hmm. And they, we'll get to Landon in a second. And they, unfortunately for them, I suppose, he's, get what's coming to him. But Alex Formenton was a really good player before the whole Hockey Canada thing came to light. He will not play in the NHL again, but he was over in Switzerland when I was there, and I thought he was the best player in the league. Like, guy has absolute NHL game and speed, and he won't be part of the Sens, obviously. Let's go to Landon Ferraro for Honda Canada, our game day analyst. You can catch him tonight on the Vancouver Canucks broadcast later this evening.
Also, congratulations, Stuart M. You are the winner. Stuart M is going to
see the boss.
Team. Yes,
it's pretty good prize there.
Oh yeah,
6 tickets, parking. That's pretty good. Honda Canada, one efficient power play. Meet Honda's 2025 Civic Accord and CRV hybrids. Visit prairiehonda.ca. Last night, would you say, Landon, that second half of the Oilers game against Montreal, I felt like watching that, like it was reminded me of the first 3 Oiler games where they could not get out of neutral. And I thought the first period was pretty good last night, and then they just kind of fell into this, I don't know, would you describe it? I'll let you describe it, but like this mopey trap almost.
Yeah, I was going to say that I feel like, especially like you just brought up the first few, and then last night, like when they realized it wasn't going to be as easy as what the first really appeared like it was going to be, then everything started to get really stretched out again. And like, one of the funnest parts of watching the Oilers for me is when they're on, like, every time that there's a longer pass or a pass up the wall and it looks like the play's about to die, like it'll just be a chip in or a tip into the offensive zone, there's always someone coming underneath with a ton of speed. And that just seemed to disappear last night, and it just slows it down so much for them. And it just, once that starts happening, like, they get out of rhythm, and it just, the game kind of just kills itself between the two.
Greg's and I were talking about this earlier. You, and I know we've discussed it as well. You know him. He's a Burnaby guy. You played with him in junior. I know you have a lot of respect for him. Are you seeing anything with Nuge? Like, what's the matter? Because I feel like we've reached the point where this is the 20th game. It's not just a cold streak. Like, something's a little off with this guy.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's anything is off other than he just has zero confidence. Like, you watch him for really his entirety of his career. Like, it's not like he ever looked like he was taking games over. It's just like the right play time after time after time. And, he's so good at those little quick touch passes and the little ones behind his back. Like, he's really a feel player. And this year, like, it didn't start for him quick, and it's just like he's been chasing it ever since. And there's guys around the league this year that have kind of been in the same situation, and they've gotten themselves out of it in the last little bit here. But with Hoppy, like, it doesn't look like he believes that he can make the same plays, and when he gets into a shooting spot, that he's going to be the one to put it in. Like, it just doesn't have that same confident look that he had before.
No. And well, you look across, and hey, I get the confidence is a factor in sports. But to me, to impact your entire team outside of maybe 3 players, Draisaitl, obviously it's not impacting McDavid. Connor Brown's having a good year by his standards. Even Evan Bouchard's actually well ahead of goal. Like, Evan Bouchard had 7 even strength goals last year. He's already got 4 this year. So that's not really a big issue. But there's Nugent-Hopkins, Hyman, even Jeff Skinner's numbers are low. He's still shooting the puck, but the majority of your team can't score. And the other thing is, if you start to look at their heat maps, they become more of a perimeter team, Landon. They're getting shots, but they're getting a lot of outside shots. Like, look at Gallagher's goal. When was the last time you saw the Oilers just get a deflection goal? Like, they they become a little bit more of a perimeter team than I think they'd like.
Yeah, the one that pops onto my head right away, I think their last deflection goal was Kulak. And, like to see your forwards be doing it, right? Yeah. But, I think part of that is, like, when you're not playing to your ability, you start trying to find plays instead of just letting your feet move and the plays come to you, because now you're in the game. Like, I feel like, especially with Hopkins, like, he gets the puck and, in years past, as soon as it touches his stick, like, his feet are already moving to another position, and he's now moving the defender. He's finding lanes, and whether that guy's coming directly at him, now he knows that someone else is open and he can make those plays. Now it feels like, and for a lot of them, like, they get the puck, their feet stop moving, and they start looking for the next play. Like, that just, the game moves too fast. Defenders are too good. Like, they'll snuff out that time instantly. So, like, I just think they really need to get back to, as soon as the puck's coming to you or as soon as it touches your stick, your feet get moving. Now you're more engaged into it. Like, you can't stand around waiting for plays to develop and happen. It's not going to be there. Like, you have to create your own work.
Well, and Ottawa's kind of in the same boat, right? Like, their expected goals, if you like that stat, is much higher than their actual goals, and they got good players. Like, much like the Oilers, I look at the Sens, and I'm like, man, Batherson, Stützle, Giroux's getting older, but I like Giroux, Tkachuk, Norris. If he can stay healthy, like, I like these guys. Pinto, right?
Pinto is
really good.
Norris
player.
and Pinto are their best pure centers. Stützle's the most skilled. You can't win a faceoff to save his life. He might be better as a winger, but I'm telling you, those two, Norris and Pinto, they're good.
Well, Norris is the bum shoulder. I've really liked his game. That's the only thing, right? Is when that thing is going to get injured again. It's been 2 years in a row. All that said, they got good players too, Landon. They're not scoring goals like they expect. They got a mobile defense core as well with Shabbat and Sanderson. So it's just the cure-all, right? You got to get to the inside. You got to get traffic. You got to get screens. You got to get dirty. You got to get tip-ins. Like, that's it. Doesn't matter who you are. If you're Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl or Wayne Gretzky, maybe some of those guys are above the law a little bit, but if you need to get going, it's just about keeping it simple.
Yeah, and like, I'll use this one simply because I was talking about it a couple hours ago on Vancouver radio, but we were talking about Brock Besser a little bit, and like, he's always been a shooter, but once he got working on his game a bit more, especially with the new coaching staff and management coming in, like, what they kept telling him was, you need to get closer to the net. Mm-hmm. And as soon as he started doing that, instead of being, the one-time option on the power play on the outside or on 5-on-5, like, he's looking, kind of lurking in the weeds on the outside a bit, looking for a one-timer. Like, he just gets his feet to the net, and he started popping in goals. And it's exactly what you said. Like, you need to get to the hard areas. There's a reason why they're called the hard areas. Like, to get to the front of the net, you're going to take cross checks. You're going to take a little extra abuse, but like, that's where the reward is. And it's a decision that you have to make as a player if you're going to fight to get there or not. And it can be as simple as that. Like, if you don't have that extra little punch, with inside yourself for that game, like, you're going to be stuck to the outside. Goalies are too good. Defenders are too good. You can't get to the net.
They can't score. A lot of people are complaining about the goaltending, key save at key times. I think it is important to address that issue. Even when, like, we all know, if you score 0 goals, it doesn't matter if your goalie allows 1 or allows 10, you're not going to win the game. That said, like, you should address all the issues. When I look at a goalie, if he's struggling, and it's more than numbers, right? It's the types of goals he lets in, the timing of those goals. Nothing deflates a team than a random stinker when you're playing, really well 5-on-5 or something like that. One of the biggest things I think is, does the team lose faith in their goalie, and all of a sudden they're playing differently, right? They're playing more cautious or whatever it is. And I don't think I've seen that yet from the Edmonton Oilers. I I'm not sure if you would say maybe we saw that in the series early on against Vancouver. I think we certainly saw there was a lot of problems a year ago when they were 2-9-1, 5-11-1, and nobody could make a save. I don't know if you've seen that from the Oilers with their goaltenders, or what a telltale giveaway sign is that they feel that way.
See, I don't feel that from the Oilers yet, because when I've been in a situation where, either you don't, you're on not on a good team and you don't have a great goalie, and what that feels like. And I've been on a team where you have an unbelievable goalie that goes out and your backup you don't feel as safe with. And the easiest sign that the guys don't trust the guy in net is they're basically, they're diving in front of shots in their D zone, they're racing around trying to do anything to not even let the puck get to the goalie. And I don't feel like that's what's happening with the Oilers. If anything, I feel like as soon as something like that happens, they go the other way where they start stretching out even more, and they're like, we need to get that back this second. And I think something that could help a little more as this is going on is just having a little more patience. That doesn't mean back off the pedal and don't try and go attack, but you don't have to score instantly every time something goes wrong or at the beginning of a game. You need to put together solid shifts where you're continually building and you're holding possession of the puck. That's when you start tiring out the other team. It's like a boxing. You need to kind of set up your opponent a little bit to be able to strike a bit later. It doesn't always have to be for the immediate future.
Hey, guys, Oilers lines tonight, the top two based on warm-up is going to be Podkolzin with McDavid and Draisaitl, and Skinner, Hyman, and Nugent-Hopkins. Thoughts, Landon?
Skinner, Hyman, Nugent-Hopkins. I mean, on paper, that looks good. If Nuge can kind of get moving himself and Skinner is on tonight, then I think that can be a pretty decent line. I like the first line, obviously, but I do like Podkolzin in there. He's someone that can go plant himself in front. He can help win some pucks back and knows that, the puck does not need to be in my hands right now with the other two guys I'm on the ice with. So I think that works. The next line, you just don't know what you're going to get out of Nuge and Skinner, night in and night out right now. So, I mean, I see the potential of it. It seems like a line that can really hold on to a puck, start creating some chances themselves, with Hyman kind of, being the driver of the line. But that's a lot of ifs at the same time.
Yeah, I think preseason, if you would have said, hey, Jeff Skinner, Zach Hyman, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, you say, oh my God, what a luxury to have three all-star caliber forwards.
You're jumping all over that.
Yeah, for sure. And then given what we've seen in the last 20 games, it's been really frustrating to watch all three of these guys at different junctures. They've put things in a blender before. They've moved things around. The one thing that they have been slow to do, and I don't blame them because of obvious reasons, but it's been to split up Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman. And, I think last night that cross ice pass, Hyman misses it. You see a very rare case of frustration, show of emotion from Connor McDavid, kind of bangs the stick on the wall. To me, that was it. That was it's time to try something different. Hyman got 54 goals last year, standing ovation, good for him. It's a new year, right? He's got to get going, and he can't necessarily rely on Connor McDavid to bank it off his shin pads. We got to try something new.
Yeah, and I think I've shared this on here before, but one of the best pieces of advice, or call it advice, but it was a talking to that I got at one point was, I came off, I think it was 26 goals in the American League, and the next year I just couldn't buy a goal. And I'm talking to the assistant coach, and I said, but I've done it before, and I know I can do it. And he's like, it's great that you've done it before, but it's not happening right now, and you can't rely on your past to just make the present okay, right? So it's not, it's been great in the past with Hyman and McDavid, and it's just not working right now. So like, what is the issue of trying something else out? It's not going to hurt any more than it already is. Like, maybe you find a little bit of a pop that actually starts, kind of sparks both sides of it.
Mm-hmm. He is Landon Ferraro for Honda Canada here on the pregame show. Thanks for this, Landon. We'll let you go. We'll hear from you on the postgame airwaves as well.
All right, sounds good, guys. Have a good one.
All right, Honda Canada, want an efficient power play? Meet Honda's 2025 Civic Accord and CRV hybrids. Visit prairiehonda.ca. About 20 minutes away from game time. We'll take another break. When we come back, a couple things to get to, including a brief look at what's coming up tonight at the out-of-town scoreboard for the pallet recycler. That is next on the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show, Sports 1440.
Imagine a family get-together where the smiles are as genuine as the conversations. That's the feeling you get at Nisku Ford, a family-owned dealership where finding a new Ford feels just like catching up with old friends. Swing by Nisku Ford today, and we'll show you how to take advantage of November rebates of up to $10,000 or access finance rates as low as 0%. The coffee's on, so drive into Nisku Ford or visit niskuford.ca today. Above expectations.
Are you an HVAC or refrigeration company stressed about meeting your customers' temporary refrigeration needs? No need to worry. The solution is easy. Think Easy Chill Rentals. For repair, maintenance, or even special events, Easy Chill Rentals guarantees you a no-hassle, short or long-term solution for your refrigeration needs. Easy Chill provides mobile walk-in coolers and freezers to customers all over Western Canada. For sales and rentals, don't sweat it, just chill. With Easy Chill Rentals, visit easychillrentals.com today.
Looking for a smart alternative to heating and cooling your home? Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson, your cold climate heat pump specialist. We'll explain how Trane heat pumps offer a reliable, cost-effective heating and cooling solution. Order your Trane heat pump now and take advantage of the Canada Greener Homes Loan Initiative. Trane, it's hard to stop a Trane. From the most experienced HVAC company around, family owned and operated for nearly 50 years. Visit wjheats.com today.
As an Albertan, you expect the challenge of icy roads, but what you may not expect is Cross Mitsubishi helping you gear up for winter with winter tires. And now, for a very limited time, you'll receive a set of winter tires for free with your purchase. Don't wait. This offer won't last long. All from the home of the 10-10-10 warranty and Western Canada's largest 2024 Mitsubishi inventory, Cross Mitsubishi. Get your free winter tires now and drive your ambition. 9605 34th Avenue and at crossmitsubishi.ca.
Often when I meet people at a party or I'm hanging out at my favorite restaurants, I'll introduce myself and they'll say, "Oh, you're Grant Fedoruk from Leading Edge Physio. What can I do about this sore knee? It's been bugging me for months." First, I was thinking, when I'm out like this, I should just tweet my location so people know where to come for a consultation. But then I thought, I'm spending all this money on advertising Leading Edge. Maybe you could come by one of our clinics. That's where we have the technology and really smart physiotherapists who can give you all the advice and treatment you need. Have your people call my people, leadingedgephysio.com.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching Love Seater chair. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Plus, save up to $700 off a big screen TV. And get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year, and The Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details.
In a world where every day is a battle against time, elements, and gravity, one ally has stood strong for over 50 years. Titan Supply. In the harshest conditions, against relentless deadlines and overwhelming tasks, they equip you and help keep you working safely. Lifting, digging, or hauling. Gear up for the everyday battle with Titan Supply. Still standing strong in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary. Or online at titansupply.ca.
Lift, dig, haul.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. It's Terrific Tuesday. Get 40% off any regular price pizza using the code word 40 Tuesday at the start of each order at papajohns.ca.
You're listening to Andrew Walker and the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show on Sports 1440.
Welcome back to the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show. Like a really good fusion restaurant, like Japanese Korean fusion or something like that. We get the Jason Gregor Show fusing with the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show. It's the best here on Sports 1440. I know it's. I know. Are you jealous? You've never seen this much traffic on the text line, hey? You were giving away 6 Lowe's tickets for Springsteen.
Yeah, we got a few texts of that.
Yeah, and just to remind you, I saw the one text from Josh. She's like, I'm not sure if you have a over-under number yet. We did it right away, so we'll refresh it. Over-under. All you got to say is over or under, and you could win $100 through Cree Resort and Casino. I'm throwing myself to the wolves. We're talking Stuart Skinner. His career average save percentage is .907. Obviously, this year it's much lower. I think it's been said many times, and I agree with it. If Oilers get 9-10 goaltending, they'll win a lot of games and could win a cup. So there's the benchmark tonight. Stuart Skinner's back in against the Ottawa Senators. Over or under? I said 9-10, but we'll say 909 because you got to be over 909 to get to 9-10. So over or under 909?
909 and a half?
909 and a half, correct.
Sure.
Yeah, 909 and a half.
Okay.
So over or under the save percentage, 909 and a half. Can he save 91% of the Senators' shots tonight? And you can change your vote all you want. You have until the drop of the puck, basically, here on the text line, 1-833-401-1440. All right, the matchups for Napa Auto Parts. For all your automotive needs, go to your trusted experts in high-quality parts, tools, equipment, and more. That's Napa know-how. Greg's, you just pointed out, in warm-up, the top 2 lines look like so. McDavid, Draisaitl, Podkolzin, big 2 back together. And then, man, I'm fascinated by this line. Jeff Skinner, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Zach Hyman. 3 slumping former All-Stars. Throw them all in the same line and see what you get. So that's kind of the matchup I'm interested in. I mean, if you are the Ottawa Senators, it's all hands on deck to try to slow down the big 2. It sets up the game for those 3. You know, what can you do against secondary checking, if we want to call it that?
Well, it looks like a coach who's going to say, hey, right now, we're going to load up some guys. Hey, that second line, in theory, Skinner and Hyman should be able to produce. Right now, Nugent-Hopkins, I've said this for years, has never been, anybody, he's not a driver. Of course he's not a driver. He's never been a driver. There's like maybe 10 drivers in the NHL, maybe 15. Okay, so expecting him to be a driver, then you're just disappointing yourself. He's never been a driver. Can he be a second-line center for a short period of time? Yes. Is he a long-term answer? Not anymore, in my opinion. I think he's better as a winger than he is as a center. But he can do it for a short period of time. If anything, it's like, okay, just don't get scored on, right? Break even, and then hope that your top line or your third line, which has actually played fairly decent, can chip in. And then, the power play. Where Nugent-Hopkins has to chip in now, has to be on the power play. Like he's got to be somebody who makes a contribution there. Otherwise, what are you on there for?
Yeah, I've always looked at Nuge as he's a really heady player. He's good defensively. He's got a great stick. You can play him all over. You can play him with anyone. Good penalty killer. Smart player, right? Easy to play with. And where he gets his cookies, where he turns into a 50-point two-way winger into at one time 100 points, more likely kind of like a 75, 80-point guy, is because at any given night he could put up 4 assists on the power play, or coming off the half wall, and everyone's looking at McDavid, everyone's looking at Draisaitl, they got Bouchard up top, and then rip that little laser snapper off the post and in. Like, we've seen him do it for years, and he's not a 104-point player. That's going to be his career high benchmark. There's no doubt about it. And what a feather in your cap to say at one point I did get 100 points. But this guy, that's where he really feasts. And, the Oilers' inability to A, generate chances with the man advantage, and then B, score when you get the odd power play. And I do think it's tough to score when you're getting 1 or 2 power plays a night. That has been, when you're looking at the numbers, that has been the bane of all these guys' slumps, right? Like it's difficult to score 5-on-5. Always has been in the NHL. even the Stars at 5-on-5, a lot of time it's a wash, and they generate power plays, and that's where they do their damage.
Yeah.
Well,
you gotta have their power play better than what it's been for now. There's no question about it. But their 5-on-5 finish just has to improve. Now, obviously, Stu Skinner's got to make some saves. No question about it. He needs to make a few more saves, mainly off the rush. That's his weakness right now. And hopefully their penalty kill, which has gone 4 games, they've killed off 10 consecutive power plays. So at least they've started to show a pulse here. On the PK, they're a lot more aggressive. They're a lot more in unity, which is nice. But their power play last night, Walks, was as stagnant of a power play as you could have. It was a lot of one guy skating around and the other guy's just standing still. And that's not the success of their power play. It just isn't. Never has.
Their best power play was 6-on-5, the delayed penalty.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. All right. So part of the news today, I don't know. Hey, we can read into it. What is it an admission of? My first blush would be, hey, we got to get a little faster. I don't think it's a revenge thing, because generally claiming a $1 million guy off waivers, you're doing the other team a favor. But the Oilers did claim Kasperi Kapanen off of waivers today, the now former Blue, former Penguin, former Toronto Maple Leaf draft pick. And the head coach, Chris Knobloch, talked about him today. For Easy Chill Rentals, if you need temporary or long-term refrigeration solutions for festivals, weddings, or repairs and maintenance, easychillrentals.com. So here is Chris Knobloch on why they claimed Kasperi Kapanen off waivers today from the Blues.
One player that can score, but also a player that does play physical and he finishes his checks, but also adds some more speed to our lineup. He's a tremendous skater, and things obviously hasn't been working out well for him in St. Louis right now, but where we are, giving our team a little jolt with some speed, some offense, and hopefully we can find a fit for him with our team.
So there you go. That's the head coach on Kasperi Kapanen. He won't be in the lineup tonight, but most likely next game, I would think.
Well, yeah, I would think so. And if Arvidsson's not in, I think, they go against Minnesota. I don't think they'll load up one line. I could be wrong, but I think you would see McDavid and Draisaitl as centers the next game, and I think you'll find Kapanen in the top 6 right wing.
Fairly interesting night. It's not very often the Oilers kick it off, but that's what happens tonight in the NHL. Quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard. What's going on tonight? For the pallet recycler in Edmonton, find out why recycled pallets are the most cost-effective way to move and store your product. Thepalletrecycler.ca. Check us out online. So Oilers and Sens, it will be Skinner versus Allmark. And also tonight, you got the Lightning and the Penguins, the Wild and the Blues, Panthers and Jets. Paul Maurice returning to Winnipeg after, what did he say the other day? The Jets are my favorite team. That's not the Panthers. And then he won the Cup. So it'd be interesting to see at 6 p.m. tonight, the reception he gets in Winnipeg. Massive. Yeah, pretty good. Anaheim, Chicago tonight. The Islanders and the Flames. And then the late game, the Vancouver Canucks are going to get absolutely blasted by the Rangers tonight, I believe. That's my prediction. No JT Miller now. He's gone from the team. If it was as simple as an injury, they'd just say it's an injury probably. So who knows what's going on there. But no JT Miller, no Brock Besser, no Thatcher Demko. Bad vibes.
Bad vibes.
Bad vibes in Vancouver.
Right. And Walks, you'll be back for the post-game show around.
I will not.
You're off tonight. Declan and the Duke are running it.
Yeah, Declan and Brandon are going to do it tonight. So hopefully they don't screw it up. No pressure. No, they'll do a great job, and keep those texts coming for the boys. In the post-game, they'll be on right after the final whistle. 1-833-401-1440. They'll take your texts, maybe even the odd phone call if you dare. They'll announce the winner of the River Cree over-under, and hopefully play La Bamba. Hopefully some good vibes after an Oiler win. And you're not even there's no Noah Gregor tonight, so you're not even playing this. Oh, what do I cheer for? What do I do? You don't even have to worry about that.
No,
so it's a load off.
My son's very disappointed, actually. Yeah. So I'll be having to calm him down.
Well, as long as he's back for when did they come here?
December 22nd. Yes.
Ooh, nice.
Right
perfect.
Before Christmas.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice. Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks for this. Get back to your show.
All right.
I'm getting out of here.
All right. We'll come back. We got Spec joining us. Lots more. Let's get to the Command Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice, the original is back, the creamsicle. Also, the marathon. Some of the greats as they celebrate 25 years. Download the Boosters Reward app and get yours today. We'll come back, tell you about some revamped lines of the orders. Is it going to matter? We'll find out.
The Sports 1440 update.
The architect of Edmonton's 2015 Grey Cup championship team is returning home as Ed Hervey is the new president of football operations and GM of the Edmonton Elks. We'll have a press conference tomorrow down at Commonwealth to make a formal announcement on the ice. The Oilers back in action today, taking on the Sens. Pucks up a few minutes away. Once this game wraps up, Brandon Douglas and Duncan Kruger back with your post-game coverage. The Oilers making some news, claiming forward Chris Ferry captain off waivers from the St. Louis Blues earlier today. Around the NHL, got the Penguins and the Lightning, the Wild in St. Louis, Jets take on the Panthers, Blackhawks up against the Ducks, Islanders travel to Calgary, and the Canucks hosting the Rangers in the association. NBA Cup group play rolls on. The Cavaliers trying to stay undefeated, currently 15-0 in Boston, taking on the Celtics. That'll start at 5:05. We also have the Nuggets taking on the Grizz. Mavs host the Pelicans. Thunder in San Antonio, and the Lakers up against the Jazz. Coming up in hour number 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Kurt Heelan from NBC NBA coverage. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Touch base on the Weiss Johnson text line, 1-833-401-1440. Weiss Johnson specializes in Train heat pumps, the reliable, cost-effective heating and cooling solution. Train. It's hard to stop a train.
In a world where every day is a battle against time, elements, and gravity, one ally has stood strong for over 50 years. Titan Supply. In the harshest conditions, against relentless deadlines and overwhelming tasks, they equip you and help keep you working safely. Lifting, digging, or hauling. Gear up for the everyday battle with Titan Supply. Still standing strong in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary. Or online at titansupply.ca.
Lift, dig, haul.
Hey, you hear about this new burger place?
Heard about it? I've been to it.
The Varsity?
Yeah, the Varsity.
This is the one at White Mud Crossing, right?
Right.
This is the one with those incredible burgers, right?
Correctamundo.
This is the one
with the unlimited steak fries? Yeah, that's the Varsity, bro.
Unlimited steak fries?
And they're so good.
We gotta go. Like now.
Come to the Varsity for 100% all beef, chef-inspired burgers that are never frozen and cooked fresh. Each served with an unlimited portion of those amazing steak fries. The Varsity Kitchen Bar Burgers.
Fall fun means RV fun with RV City. The brand new 2025 Jayco RVs are arriving, so get ready for some awesome adventures. These RVs are packed with everything you need. But if you're looking for even better deals, RV City is clearing out all remaining 2023 and 2024 Jayco RVs. Find fantastic fall offers on all travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes, travel vans, and more. Get away from it all with RV City in Morinville and Nisku. RV City, generations of family fun.
What keeps Alberta business moving? It's pallets, whether you're shipping, manufacturing, or looking for in-house storage solutions. Hi, it's Andrew with the Pallet Recycler here in Edmonton, and we've been providing reliable, affordable, recycled, and custom pallets for local businesses for the past 30 years. Contact the Pallet Recycler at 825-474-1981 to find out why recycled pallets are the most cost-effective way to move and store your product. Learn about our recycling program as well at thepalletrecycler.ca.
The pregame show is brought to you by Cross Mitsubishi. Visit Cross Mitsubishi today and drive your ambition. 9605 34th Ave and crossmitsubishi.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantor. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, yeah, baby. Hey, welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Halley with you, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. And looks like Mr. Podkolzin getting the opportunity of a lifetime tonight, as he will play with McDavid and Draisaitl to start the game. Of course, the Oilers have 11 for it, so there'll be different combinations, but that's what they're going to start with. And Podkolzin looking for his first goal of the season. PlayAlberta.ca, +6.5. If you want to get in on it, you never know. PlayAlberta.ca. Stay within your limits. Use your game sense. Go to gamesense.ab.ca. as the Oilers are in Canada's national capital, Ottawa tonight, where they've had a lot of success recently. I guess they're 1-1-1 in their last 3, but in the McDavid/Draisaitl era, they have been very successful at 8-2-1 in 11 visits, and they desperately could use a victory tonight, especially after the soiling of the sheets effort that they had last night, which was not very good at all. I don't think anyone can come out and say that was a great effort by any stretch of the imagination. Let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction. They continue rolling, man. It is a busy time for them. You'll see them underground infrastructure as the Yellowhead becomes closer to a freeway. It all starts with the underground infrastructure courtesy of GS Construction. They're hiring. Go to Indeed.com and look up GS Construction as Mark Spector joins us. Spec, how you doing?
Noah's not playing tonight. Why are we watching here? What's going on?
No, he's got a hip pointer. It's been out a few games, so
yeah,
it's bummer. Never good. I honestly, I'm trying to even get an explanation on hip pointer. It's just like it's really painful. So,
yeah, I had a hip pointer once. It is. It's just you can't. No,
you can't move.
You can't move. There's no. It's like yeah. There's no. I don't know. You can't move and you can't skate and you can't turn and if you fall on it, it hurts like hell. And those guys operate at such a level that whatever hip pointer he has, I'm sure it's 50 times worse than anything I ever had. So if he can't play, I'm sure it's bad.
Yeah, it's the second game he's missed, so hopefully it's not much longer. Doesn't really know. It's kind of an open-ended one. They're hoping maybe a week, but we'll see. So I know that he always gets fired up to play his hometown team. So now he's not playing, but the Oilers in Ottawa, where they've had a lot of success back, but the past means absolutely squat for this year's team because, man, last night's effort was not very good. I don't think at all. Like, yeah, they had a few chances, but they didn't get outchanced in that game at all. If you look at it, Montreal had more chances. Edmonton had a good first period, but that was about it. And their power play had multiple chances, Spec, to kind of take that game over when it was 0-0. They had 3 chances and really didn't come close.
No, the power play was the same as their team. It didn't work hard enough. It didn't get, it didn't get enough pucks to the net. It's fired, past the puck around the perimeter. Montreal stayed in the interior and just watched the team circle around them and said, okay, you guys stay out there. You're not going to score. We've got a really good goalie. So, you know what? I mean, it's more, there was a lot of more of the same lack of offense. We've seen a bad power play for times this year. It's been getting better lately. That was just a step back. I think Edmonton's been getting better and better here. But last night was a step back. It was a step back to about 3 weeks ago, and no one likes what that looks like. I have a feeling it's going to be one night in a row. I think you'll see a much better team tonight, but there's certainly a lot of reaction in this city today after one bad game in a row here. They're sick of seeing bad games out of this team. It's time to get going in most people's eyes.
Well, the fact that it's a bad game with another, your offense again, like people, Stu Skinner doesn't dress, so that, they can't blame him. Nurses in the lineup can't blame him. Oh, geez, I guess we have to admit the team can't score on a consistent basis. And it kind of, it's like they got punched right in the face. That has been an issue. I've talked about it for really since game 3. I said the offense is just as much of a concern to me as the goaltending. And I get that the goaltending, it stands out. The guy doesn't make a save when you want, and everybody freaks out. Meanwhile, the forwards have all these great chances, keep putting it right into the goalie's chest. They're like, oh, yeah, but they created a good chance. I'm like, no, they just wasted a good chance. And I've seen way too many wasting of good chances.
Well, listen, we're all the analytics people seem to be in agreement that I think today I heard that the Oilers are second in the league in expected goals. So that tells you that they're getting close and they're not finishing, right? Because they're 24th in the league in actual goals. And I think we all learned during the memorable Jesse Puljujarvi era that we like real goals better than we like expected goals. So, great. They got a lot of expected goals. Yeehaw. Who cares, right? Even Knobloch, who make, he's advised by those stats, and he's got people that give him those stats, and he pays heed to them. I don't blame him. Even he has said tonight, I can see by the way he's mixed his lines up, enough expected goals. we got to do something different here.
Yeah. What do you make of it? Podkolzin with McDavid and Draisaitl. Jeff Skinner's actually back in the top 6 to start with Nugent-Hopkins and Hyman.
Yeah, Jeff Skinner should be back in the top 6. If for no other reason, then there's nobody else up there that's played so well that he should stay down at the bottom. Like, I get how he falls to the bottom of the lineup. Coach didn't like his game, down he goes. But the way that those top 6 wingers are playing, it's time now to put him back up and move somebody else to the bottom, in my opinion. Frankly, I think it's probably Podkolzin. Like, he's had 18, 19 games. He doesn't have a goal. He's a nice forechecker. He does nice stuff. I see a bottom 6 player in Podkolzin. I see a top 6 player in Skinner. I don't know why it's taken this long to get there. He's on the top line, Podkolzin. I don't wish the kid any ill. I love what he's doing. He's working and blah, blah, blah. He's the bottom 6 player. He's playing on the top line tonight. So I don't have I can't figure that out, Jay. Can you?
Well, I think it's the coach feels that he likes his defensive game, right? He feels he's trustworthy there. And I can understand that to a point. But at some point, like I said, for years with Puljujärvi, it's the same. Now, it's much shorter timeline.
Yeah,
so
20 games.
Yeah. Well, not even, because he didn't start there, right? It's actually only like he's only played, I think, with Draisaitl, like not even 100 minutes yet. So, if you're getting about, 9 to 10 minutes of 5-on-5 a game, like he's only played there maybe 10 games, maybe. Yeah. So I'll give him a little bit of leeway, but
sure.
He's had some chances, and maybe if he scores one, but at some point, like, we'll see what happens. And, they go out and they get Kapanen here, who, like, he's not a difference maker, but he's got some speed. And I think it illustrates they're trying to just find anything. They're like, hey, this is a free player. It's $1 million on the cap hit, whatever. Josh Brown will go back down to the minors, I would think, after Saturday's game. And then they can start accruing cap space again. It's 5 days where they don't accrue cap space, and because Nurse will be back, and then away they go if they want to go that route. But like, I wonder, Spec, we're getting into game 20 here. Like Derek Ryan and Noah Philp, how long do you think before we see that a guy like Noah Philp maybe gets more of an opportunity up here?
Well, that's a good point. Like, I start like this. Like, to me, Perry and Ryan can't both be in your lineup every night. Those guys have to sit out sometimes, especially Perry. He's old and he's slow. I like what he does when he plays, but the more he plays, the less I like him. So you got to have enough, like this 11-7 thing. I know Arvidsson's hurt, but this 11-7 thing, that means that Perry and Ryan are playing every night. Well, those are 2 old, slow players. So that's not good. So is it going to be Philp that's up here that jumps in for these guys? Okay. He comes in and plays center, and Ryan plays the right wing. He comes up and plays center, and Perry plays the right wing, and the old guys sit once in a while. Maybe that's what we do here. But you can't tell me you're going to try to play Perry and Ryan, 78 games each. That is not a ticket to having success with those 2 players. Sorry.
No, Spec, I'm saying, honestly, it might be time to just Ryan comes out and Philp goes in, and Ryan doesn't. Like, what's Ryan done? He doesn't hit. He doesn't score. The penalty kill's been a tire fire. Like, what elements are you bringing to your team at this point?
Well, I mean, if that's, you can take it there if you want. I don't have any numbers that back that up. Ryan's never going to be a big offensive guy. He's going to be the guy that does a lot of little things, but things that don't show up in the score sheet. That's who he is. You knew that when you signed him. So
yeah, but he's normally the guy who will score you 10 goals, Spec.
Well, he's supposed to get you 9. Sure, you want 10 goals out of your 4th line center. He's obviously behind pace like everybody else, no question about it. But like, I'd have to, and how's he playing on the PK? If he's not killing penalties effectively, that's 50% of why you have him on your team. So he better be winning draws for me when I need it. He better be killing penalties and toss in a goal or 2 for sure. And Philp is knocking on the door. Philp is having a really nice season down there. And I don't think they expect him to be ready as fast as he is. But you're right. Like, that's the sport, Jay. If Philp is better than Ryan, then let's forget about all the BS and all the little things and blah, blah, blah. If he's a better player, play him, right? If he's a better player, you don't owe Ryan anything. He's getting his contract. If that's how the coach sees it, bring him up and play him.
And here's the thing, Spec. Derek Ryan isn't really even on the penalty kill. He's only played 9 minutes on the penalty kill this year, and he's been on for 4 goals against. Like, he's not on your penalty kill anymore. Like, to me, I think his play has shown like it's just time, and it sucks for any player as you get older. But to me, the writing's on the wall here. You're not doing anything 5-on-5. He's been outscored 6-3 5-on-5. He's only on the penalty kill for a total of 9 minutes all season amongst forwards. And so you look at, Nugent-Hopkins is at 32, Henrique's at 30, Janmark and Brown are each at 24, Podkolzin's at 13, Arvidsson's at 12. Like, Derek Ryan's not even in shop 6 penalty killers anymore.
Okay, well, I'll tell you this. I can't have Perry, who doesn't kill penalties or play in the power play, and is old
Perry
and
plays
pretty
in the power
slow.
play. Yeah.
Wow. I guess he plays in the second unit that Barry plays.
Sure.
But sure. And he doesn't kill penalties. And I got Ryan, who's old and he's slow, and he doesn't play in the power play, and now he doesn't kill penalties. I can't have both those guys in my top 12 every night. No chance. I can have one, like, they're both good, smart, versatile players. One of them's a centerman. I can have him as my 12 and 13 and rotate them back and forth and have guys when someone's injured. I got a guy that I don't mind Ryan being my 13th guy or whatever it is. But don't tell me I got 2 guys who don't play special teams, and they're both in their 30s and they're both slow, and I'm playing them every night. That doesn't work for me. Does it work for you?
No, not at all. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think I think at times, Spec, like, when you listen to what Phil Broberg said, I think this organization has to take a step back and look at how they view young players. Like, I get that you want veterans. You don't need all veterans. Well, he's a veteran. He's not doing anything, but he's a veteran. It's like Ty Emberson playing the least amount of minutes 5-on-5 last night. What? He was one of their best defensemen, and they trust him enough to be the most minutes on the penalty kill. But then he's playing behind like Dermott and Brown 5-on-5. What the hell's going on? So I think at times here, this organization and how they view young players, like I get for a while they just force fed young guys minutes. Not good.
Yeah.
Dylan Holloway, Broberg, they let him go. And now it's like, well, Philp has got to keep earning what? You're telling me that Noah Philp couldn't do what Derek Ryan's doing? Come on.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Again, to me, the one thing Ryan did was he's a really good penalty killer in his time, and he'd win you a key draw. If they're not used, if they don't think they want to use him killing penalties, then that's 50% his arsenal right there.
Yeah. Wow. That's what I'm saying, Spec. It's the numbers back it up why it's time for another opportunity. And I wonder if the addition of Kaapo Kähkönen, right, there's some speed. You bring up Noah Philp, there's some
Not
speed.
Kaapo Kähkönen.
Sorry, not Kaapo Kähkönen, Kasperi Kapanen, right? But there you bring Kapanen and Philp, Spec, and that's a lot more speed to your lineup right there.
It is. If let's hope this guy can play, right? Like, I'm not doing backflips over the addition of Kasperi Kapanen. Right? I'm not doing backflips as Bouchard scores a goal for Edmonton. This guy's run through 4 teams or whatever it is. He just got picked up on waivers. I'm told St. Louis is not unhappy that someone took him on waivers. Let's see what happens with this guy. He's got to get infinitely better than he's been to help this Oilers team.
Yeah, no, he's going to have to be much better. And by the way, Evan Bouchard just went end to end. By the way, Oilers fans, like that one's going to be on the highlight reel later on tonight. So I'll tell you, you would be excited when you see that.
It. You think he heard some of that criticism made it all the way to Ottawa that he's been getting the last couple of days? He just scored a freaking highlight goal and finished flipping it into the top shelf like Pavel Bure in his day. That was one of the most
toe dragging
goals I've seen all year.
Toe dragging the defender. It's unreal. And Leon Draisaitl's like, that's one of the easiest assists I've ever had. Draisaitl put about a 2-foot pass in the defensive zone to Bouchard, and Bouchard took over and went end to end. So
isn't that something? Isn't that the haven't we seen? We just saw what he can do, and the other night we also saw what he can do. Dangerous at both ends of the ice. Like, that's the full package. That goal by Bouchard, he's capable of doing that, and we saw him in Toronto. He's capable of doing that. Boy, oh boy, this guy can do it all.
Yeah. So that was a hell of a goal, man. And you know what? He needs it. Well, and we'll see. A goal like that sometimes can energize a whole team. So we'll see if it does or not. So because Spec, you just need something to jumpstart your offense, and maybe other guys are just like, hey, look at this guy, and he walks Shabbat. Woo! Shabbat got caught reaching there. So, but that's a hell of a play by Bouchard, and that puts him ties him for Steve Smith, 5th most goals in the Oilers' history as a defenseman.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know Steve Smith had that many goals. I mean, poor Steve Smith. We only remember Steve Smith for 1 goal.
But Steve Smith, Spec, was a hell of a player.
He
right?
was oh yeah. Oh.
You look at him in 98 and 90, man. He was a force on their back end.
But he was never a big goal scorer. Like he never, I'm just saying. I watched him play too his whole career, and I have a huge respect for how good a player was. Don't get me wrong. But I try to think of your favorite Steve Smith goal. I'm not sure that I can. But he had 46 of them. I'm surprised to see that number. Good for him.
Yeah, 46 just in Edmonton alone, right?
Yeah, right. I didn't realize.
Like 75 plus goals in his career, right? Like I think he had multiple seasons of double-digit goals for the Oilers on a team when he wasn't on the power play very much. So that's 5-on-5. And like I got to go look it up, but I thought I remember one year Steve Smith, like he's one of the few players to have like 275 plus penalty minutes and like I think it's 12 or 13 goals. Right, I got to look up the stat again, but he had 1 year where he was racking up because he set the Oilers franchise. It's funny, Steve Smith owns the Oilers franchise record for most PIMs in a season. It's not Semenko because he didn't take a lot of minors, right? It's not McClellan or McSorley. It's Steve Smith. Not even Bucky, I don't think. Pretty sure it's Steve Smith.
There's another one I wouldn't have guessed, but he was tough. Steve was tough. Steve could skate. Steve could move a puck. He could shoot it pretty good. He was a very, very good all-around player. Played on a team full of superstars. That's why, you never left the rink talking about Steve Smith when you went to see those old Oilers play. But when you look back, and Jeff Bukaboom was another, 2 very good players that got overlooked because of the talent surrounding them.
Yeah. No, 100%. Spec, have a great night. We will chat with you at Demay.
All right. Sounds good, brother.
There you go. That's Mark Spector in the Spec Report. Brought to you by GS Construction. Yes, Steve Smith has the all-time single-season penalty minutes record at 286. Kevin McClellan, 281. McClellan probably would have beat him, but he missed 6 games that year. So there you go. And, Steve Smith scored 12 goals that year that he had 286 PIMs. So not bad. Not bad at all. I'm going to go look that up. I'm pretty sure he's right. Like I know there's guys who had like 250 PIMs and 50 goals, which is ridiculous. There's 4 guys, Al Secord being one and a few others, but D-man scoring 12 goals and having 286 PIMs, there's not a lot of them. So take a quick break while we'll return to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook.
Ain't it beautiful? There's electricity in the air. Carrie Dahl here for Volvo of Edmonton, where the Volvo XC40 and C40 fully electric vehicle is now in stock, along with a great selection of Volvo T8 hybrid models. Experience the trusted Volvo quality and technology to power into tomorrow at Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference.
Volvo of Edmonton.
Take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Are you watching the interest rates these days? Of course you are. Paying less interest leaves money in your pocket. That's why St. Albert Dodge is happy to tell you that right now they have 0% financing on virtually all new 2024 models. Hundreds to choose from: Jeep Compass, Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Wagoneer, Dodge Durango, and Hornet, Ram 1500, 2500, 3500, all with 0% financing. Why pay interest? Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
Are you losing sleep over your debt? Being hounded by collection calls? My name is Parveen Middleton, a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I understand this can be a stressful situation, and I'm here to help. I can put a stop to these collection calls and guide you towards your debt-free future. All it takes is one phone call. Let's discuss your debt relief options during a free consultation. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza, the meats, the words, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality toppings. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
Portions of this hour brought to you by eWell. Get your power play amped up with eWell, supplying the City of Champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. eWell.ca, your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Welcome back to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Lotto Max, $70 million tonight. Good luck. Woo-hoo. And 10 max millions at playalberta.ca. Let's get to our NBA report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 full year on your furnace. It's getting cold tomorrow. Gross. So make sure your furnace is ready to roll. LegacyHeating.ca. Is it Heelan or Helen? We're joined now by NBC Sports lead NBA writer, Kurt Heelan. Kurt, welcome to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, man, I'm happy to have you here. There's lots going on in the association right now. Lots of great storylines, and probably none better, I think safe to say, than the Cleveland Cavaliers, 15-0. Kurt, and when you look at their roster, like they got one superstar, maybe two, but like this team, like they're just scoring boatloads of buckets here, 123 points a game. Like, what do you make of this? And do you? I'm not saying they're going to go undefeated, of course, but you know, is this for real, or is it just a super hot streak in your eyes?
Well, I mean, obviously they're hot, but no, this is an absolutely for real team. This has been, look, they've been good. I mean, they finished 4th in the East the last 2 years. And that is with injuries and with a coach running a kind of stagnant offensive system. This year they got healthy, which is a big thing. Yeah. But the other part of it is Kenny Atkinson coming in has got them shooting threes, putting motion in the offense, and it's really helped Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley has suddenly become a secondary shot creator, or third, I guess, if you're going to count him with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. But a big man who's attacking the rim and making passes and keeping the ball moving it's just really changed the game for them. They've really opened up on that end. And I always thought if everything came together, they were one of those teams like, yeah, if everything just goes right for them, they're really pretty dangerous. Oh, this is what it looks like when everything goes right for them. They've looked really good.
Well, second best start ever, tied with the Houston Rockets from 93-94 and the Washington Capitals from 48-49. Of course, the Warriors.
You watched a lot of that team back in the day, the 49 Capitals.
Yeah. Well, I've watched a lot of the Capitals, but more in hockey in Washington.
Yeah, exactly.
Not in the with Ovi, who's got 15 goals, unreal. But the Warriors went 24-0. They're a dominant team, and then unfortunately lost in Game 7 of the final. But when I look at Cleveland, I look at the Eastern Conference, and we're starting to see finally, because for a while there's two teams above 500. What do you make of the Orlando Magic, who have wheeled off 6 wins in a row, are now third place in the East, and they've got some talent on that team. Are they there yet to say, okay, I think this is one of the 4 best teams in the East?
Well, in this year's East, maybe. The East has got it down this year, so that might be good enough. They've been very good defensively for a while. They are very good defensively this year. The question has been offense and shot creation. And I thought, and they did. I mean, they lost 3 or 4 in a row when Paolo Banchero went out as their primary guy. Franz Wagner has really stepped up. Jalen Suggs has really stepped up. And it's one of those situations where that might be good for them, right? Like, hey, the star's out and other guys have to take on bigger roles. So when the star comes back, maybe they keep some of that momentum going forward, right? You kind of see this in a lot of sports where you're like, suddenly they're just playing better basketball. We'll see. They ultimately are going to need a secondary shot creator and probably a point guard long term if they're going to compete with the Bostons and Clevelands of the world. But they're taking a big step forward this year, and this is a big, long, athletic team that's kind of fun to watch. If you're a basketball nerd and you like defense, like this is just a fun team to watch because they lock teams down.
Yeah, and that's hard to do, right? And it seems at times like it's a lost art. With scoring at such a premium, though, can you win but being just a really good lockdown defense team in your eyes?
No, you're ultimately going to have an elite offensive player or two. You need somebody who can go get you a bucket. And Banchero is one of those guys. He was frankly playing at an all NBA kind of level before he got hurt, and they're going to need some more ultimately. But a defense like that, or like frankly Cleveland and Boston are playing, some other teams, Golden State's back up this year. When you've got a defense, it just keeps you in the game every night, right? And again, same in hockey, same in a lot of things. If you can be one of those teams that just has to score enough because the defense keeps you in the game all night, that's big. That keeps you around. And I think they're one of those teams, and the offense will come around.
Kurt Heelan joins us here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook, talking NBA. The West, ultra competitive. You got OKC and Golden State, and the Lakers have now won 5 in a row. The Rockets are good. The Suns, Denver, heck, the Memphis Grizzlies, the Timberwolves. I'm not even talking about they got so many good teams there.
Yeah.
It's more so, okay, even the Trailblazers have kind of woken up after a terrible start. The Pelicans and the Jazz, are they really the only 2 bad teams in the West?
Yeah, and I think the Pelicans, if they ever got everybody healthy, could be a lot more interesting. The Jazz are, and the funny thing is the Jazz have been the worst team. I mean, bar none, they're going to get smacked around by the Lakers tonight. They've still got Lauri Markkanen. They've still got a couple guys who are pretty good on that roster. It's just, this is such a deep conference that just having a guy or two is not going to be good enough. And frankly, they don't want to be that good. They're looking long term at this loaded draft coming up, and they aren't the only team. You see Brooklyn Brooklyn's actually been pretty good, but you're starting to see teams kind of like they're going to recognize it pretty soon. They don't want to be too good going into this draft. So it's an interesting situation just in the West, because I'm curious if as things have gone. When you get everybody back, like you're in such a deep hole, at what point do you think about pulling the plug and trying to go into the draft?
Well, it's a fair question. And I think the challenge with it is you can never ask your players not to play their hardest, right? That's because to me, that's a loser mentality. But as a GM, you can just get rid of your good players, via trade, and then you're left with nothing. And like I look at Toronto, and I said, hey, the best thing for the Raptors was that they had some early injuries. They weren't expected to be good anyway. And then you get Scotty Barnes and some other guys, and suddenly they're 3-12. And they put themselves in a good position for the lottery. Even when he comes back, I'm not sure how good they're going to be. And sometimes, you never hope for an injury, but as an organization, some years you'd be like, I'm not that disappointed right now compared to I would be in another season.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting too when some guys sit the last month and a half of the season because of lower back pain, lower leg pain, whatever vague injury excuse you want to go with. And I think you're right, by the way. I think I kind of like some of the things that they've got on the Toronto roster, and RJ Barrett's had a couple of good games lately. But if they're going to be bad, this is a good year to be bad. There's not just Cooper Flagg at the top of this draft. There's like 5 potential all-stars at the top of the draft. So this is a good year to take that risk and see if you can get into that mix. But even with the lottery odds that are flattened and everything else, if you're going to be bad, this is a good year to do it.
What do you make of the Bucks?
They're winning some games right now because they're playing bad teams, but they had to go to overtime last night, or not overtime. I guess it was right up against the buzzer to do it with the Damian Lillard game winner. They're just not in sync, and they're not. It comes back to this to me. When they made the trade for Lillard a couple of years ago, and I thought it was a good trade. I mean, Damian Lillard's Damian Lillard, but they changed the core identity of that team. When you get rid of Drew Holiday, when you get rid of, again, we talked about under Budenholzer, that team shot threes and played really good defense, and you knew what they were going to be. And for all his playoff flaws, Mike Budenholzer's a really good regular season coach. Go see the Suns right now. They don't have that identity anymore. I don't think they know who they are or what they want to do night in and night out. And they're able to get enough talent to beat some bad teams. But I mean, if they just don't look like a threat, they just don't look scary to me. And we'd be talking about them probably a lot more if Philadelphia wasn't so bad.
Well, yeah. Speaking of the Sixers, like, what do they do here? Like, it's almost like you could look at their what are they, 2-11? Like they might be too far out of it already, and it's only 13 games in.
Yeah, it's the East, and because of we talked about it earlier, it's just not deep this year. So they've got the chance to kind of turn around. They don't control their draft picks. They're not going to tank, obviously, with Embiid and all the money they just played Paul George, but even if they climb back up and get, 6, like they even avoid the play-in, you've just made your path through the playoffs on the road so much harder.
Yes.
That I just don't believe in them. I will have to say, I saw them out here in LA, I guess a couple weeks ago now. And as good as, I'm like, you get Embiid back and Paul George and Maxey, and the whole thing might flow. The players around them just aren't that good.
Right.
It's like just their role players that they thought would step up, the Caleb Martins and the Oubre and all these other guys that just haven't played well. And they're just not good enough around their stars, even when they get them back at this point.
Kurt Heelan joins us, NBC writer for the NBA. You talk about the draft, and so I think there'll be a lot of hype leading up to the draft. What do you make of it is super early, but the Golden State Warriors, Klay Thompson moves on, and the Warriors have had some tough years, but like they look like a really competitive team again. Are you surprised they're this good, or did you expect the changes that would allow them to be this much improved team?
I didn't think they'd be this much improved. I didn't think the defense would be this much improved. And I thought they'd be, honestly, a little bit better. Klay Thompson, Bay Area legend, future Hall of Famer, man, maybe the most pure-looking jump shot outside of Ray Allen in the league has ever seen.
Yeah.
And as great as Klay Thompson is, he's just not that guy post-injuries, especially on defense. He's streaky on offense. He's not very great on defense. And bringing in guys who could defend D'Anthony Melton and all these other guys who are just depth of better defenders. I thought they'd be a little better on that end, but I didn't think they'd be this good. And the offense is really clicking for them. But Hields fit in, the ball's flying around. They look a little more like the old Warriors. I think they're really built for the regular season. I think they're going to have a really good regular season. I think in the playoffs, when I can when I can load guys up on Steph Curry and they don't really have a second shot creator right now, or high level one.
Yeah.
You still ultimately need that guy, but man, they're better than I thought they'd be, and I think it's very sustainable the way they're playing.
Yeah, well, they've looked really good, but I think that's a very valid point, an astute point by you, Curtis. Come playoff time, it's different, and now you're playing all the best teams, and they usually got somebody who can be a guard up guy, and as great of a shooter as Steph Curry is, if you don't have somebody else every now and then as an option, they're just going to double team him, and then they're done. So I'll be curious though. They've historically been a fairly aggressive organization. I wonder if they probably recognize this, and maybe they go, is there a shooter you think that would make sense to mix into that team?
I mean, there's some nice role players out there right now, but I don't know that there's the guy that they need available. And they've got, between the Jonathan Kumingas and a few draft picks, like they've got some guys to go after an elite player. I just don't think the level of player they want is. There's going to be a lot of quality role players. Pretty much, just go look at the Brooklyn Nets roster. Pretty much everyone is available. Like there's a bunch of good role players, but there's not a number two for them to go out there and get. And they will be aggressive though. By the way, they know the clock's ticking on Steph Curry. As young as he still looks, Father Time wins every race, except maybe with LeBron.
Yeah, well, hey, speaking of LeBron and the Lakers, they're on a little bit of a roll here. Are they, they're a good team, but do you see the Lakers as a team that could win 3 or even 4 rounds?
No.
Yeah.
I just don't. And again, I'm out here in LA. I've seen them a few times, and they are good. I think JJ Redick has done a good job coaching in terms of what he's trying to do. They've had a little winning streak here against a soft part of the schedule, and LeBron and AD can put it together for stretches. They can be good. We saw they won the NBA Cup, the in-season tournament a year ago. I think they can be good for a stretch, but the slump is coming, and there's just the drop-off after those two is so steep. As nice as Austin Reeves and some guys are, I don't think that they're going to be able to sustain this, and I don't think they're going to be able to do it in the playoffs in the way they hope.
Kurt, great to have you on, man. I love it. I really enjoy your stuff. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
I bet you there's Kurt Elan. It's a great GetCon, man. I love it. That guy knows the NBA. That is fantastic. If you're an NBA fan, one of the best writers out there. I love it. We'll take a quick break. We'll update you on the NHL early scores. Order fans, what's happening? We'll tell you next on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We got a lot of texts coming in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our E-Well inbox.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk. Elevate your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Weather forecast? Ugh. Savings forecast? Cha-ching. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 Select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 at Fountain Tire until December 14th. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining room furniture. Plus, save up to $700 off a big screen TV and get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year and The Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details.
When it comes to your health, trust Dr. Bryce Henderson for expert care in hip and knee replacements. With years of experience and advanced techniques, Dr. Henderson helps you regain your mobility and quality of life.
Your health is my priority. Let's get you back to doing what you love.
Put your health in the hands of a trusted expert. Book your consultation with Dr. Henderson today. Visit vitalsurgicalspecialist.ca or call 587-391-7864.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assemble. Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting. Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza, the meats, the works, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality topping. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready? I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love? With no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year.
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At Cross Mitsubishi, our legendary warranty is going even further.
Right now, upgrade to a 10-year, 200,000-kilometer bumper-to-bumper warranty on your new Mitsubishi.
Cross Mitsubishi will pay $1,000 towards your warranty upgrade, making it easier than ever to drive with confidence.
Visit Cross Mitsubishi today and secure your extended protection. 9605 34th Ave and at crossmitsubishi.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.547. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger running things online today at Orders Nation YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. We are live at Sports 1440, sports1440.ca on the app. Wherever you are, if you're in the city, in the province, in the country, out of the country. Whew. It's great. iHeart Radio Player or Stingray. Thanks, as always, for watching and listening. Fun stat for you. If you're a big believer in obscure stats, the Edmonton Oilers are 5-0 this season in games where they have a fight. Of course, on the 15th against the Flyers, Corey Perry and Troy Stetcher each fought back-to-back. Darnell Nurse then fought in Nashville 2 days later. They won. Pittsburgh at home, Darnell Nurse fought. They won. In Detroit, Corey Perry fought. The Oilers won. And then Pod Colson and Ty Emberson on Halloween in Nashville fought. And they went 5-0 in the month of October when they fought. They just had their first fight of the month in November. What the hell were they waiting for? Josh Brown and Zach McEwen, by the way, that was a heavyweight tilt. Woo-hoo! Some big bombs being thrown in that tilt. And so does that guarantee the Oilers win? I don't know. But if you're a believer in physicality, gets the juices flowing. The Oilers are leading currently 2-1 over the Ottawa Senators. Evan Bouchard, you're going to want to watch the highlights, Order fans. That was a pretty spectacular end-to-end rush for young Evan Bouchard. And Mr. Podkolzin, 2 assists in the first period on the top line. Might have to ask Bagmilk, is he the new answer? Remember during the Decade of Darkness, Oilers Nation, they'd always come up with different guys. Oh, he's the answer. It was a funny gag. Remember Ty Riley after the preseason when he was lighting it up? They're like, he's the answer. No, he was not the answer. But it was a funny gig. Hey, you know what? When the Oilers were in their desperation time, you know what? You had to look for anything Oilers fans to make it fun and enjoyable. So there you go. The Oilers, now you have a chance on a late power play, Connor Halley. We saw this in Montreal when their power play did absolutely nothing. Here is an opportunity for their power play to do something at a key time in a game. Like I'm a firm believer at certain times to draw penalties matters more than others. And when you get a power play late in a period, this is huge for your team. Yeah, you got to try to score.
Momentum backbreakers, right? When you score a goal late in a period, especially for this power play unit that, hey, we're still waiting for them to.
And Claude Giroux just took, now it's a 5-on-3 for basically 2 minutes.
Right off the faceoff.
Oh, because he played you can't play the puck with your glove in the defensive zone off a faceoff.
Jeez.
You don't see that call very often. Oh, man. Wow. You don't see that often at all. So we'll see. So Oilers, oh my God, you have a 5-on-3. They better score here. Honestly. Like you better score. To me, it's a full 2-minute 5-on-3. It's unacceptable for this skilled group of players not to score. I'm just going to say that right now. Unacceptable. Walk in, make some plays, don't overpass it. And we'll see what they do. This is, you'd go into the dressing room up 3-1 rather than 2-1. You got all sorts of momentum, feeling good about yourself. To me, it's key, and they just scored. So there you have it. It would have been unacceptable, Connor, but it's acceptable now.
Love to see the captain shoot the puck like that, Gregor. A guy who's got 60 goals in the NHL. I find myself whispering that under my breath every once in a while. Shoot the puck. You have such a good shot. From that spot, he had to, and makes no mistake.
No. And so that's a massive goal. So Ottawa kind of gives them a little bit of a favor, I would say, by taking that penalty that you don't see very often. The glove hand off the draw, huge. And the Oilers now up 3-1. So things starting well. And if they win again tonight, they should just, they should just have somebody going to fight tonight. Like they're taking on the Minnesota Wild. Now, Minnesota's got some tough guys, actually. There's a few guys there that can. Marcus Foligno is tough. So, and Minnesota's been playing pretty well. So, that could be a good game. And if you want to go, there are some select tickets left available to see the Oilers back in action on Thursday night against the Wild. And you get your tickets at edmontonoilers.com/tickets. Coming up, the post-game show, Declan and Brandon. I'm going to say Brandon. Somehow the B and the D all got together and came up with Donovan. He's on the road, but it's the new duo tonight, Connor Halley. The Duke and Declan, double D, giving you all the post-game reaction. They'll be on and around 7:30, 7:45 tonight to tune in. Will the Oilers have a victory? Will they be 6-0 when they have a fight? Find out. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Tomorrow, we unveil a new segment, 4 o'clock, the business of sports. Tune in. Until then, have yourselves a wonderful night. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Silent Ice Charter Company. They're one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches that will safely take you or your group to your next destination. Book your ride today at silentrides.ca. Good night.